What are they doing?
The tour. Or, city. So at least one tonight. Wait up. Wait up. You recently said this way if you want it to.
It's up to
Number
the
one, it's not 6.
30 seconds. It's 6 o'clock. According to my,
Honestly, honestly, if you want to serve the city at the same time, they have the tour that they were given.
I'm sorry, what?
They were giving the tour, the facility tour that was planned for 2 months. Right. We just wanted to finish up the tour with Mike and their on their different here. That's all I'm saying.
Lane is aware the meeting starts at 6 o'clock today. So
He counted the gavel at whatever. It was not 6, 2 minutes before.
it was 5:59, but it's okay. I understand what you're saying. So.
Is it time now? Have 6 o'clock.
Okay. The meeting is called to order. On the agenda. Roll call.
Commissioner Simmons,
Here.
Commissioner Jacobson,
Here.
Commissioner Chang,
Yeah.
Chair St. John,
Here.
Commissioner Barron,
Here.
Vice Chair Woodson. You have quorum.
Thank you. Okay, a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Have a volunteer for the pledge?
I'd be happy to do that.
Oh, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, special announcements and communications from the floor. We have any?
There are none.
On ex parte communications or wayside for matters from the commission.
Yes, so just for full disclosure, Commissioner Barron yesterday asked for a site visit to the car dealership site, so I drove her out there and we talked about the trees on the property. I did receive questions from Commissioner Chang and Jacobson and from Commissioner Woodson, and I will be addressing those questions in the body of the presentation.
And thank you, Guido. Any others? Okay. Right.
Actually, you don't need to address anything in my statement, Guido. That doesn't need to be addressed.
Okay, the next item pertains to the consent agenda, approval of the minutes from the March 26th meeting. Are there any discussions or corrections to the minutes? Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. Approve the minutes on March 26, 2026.
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor?
We doing majority vote?
We've been doing roll call for the last 4 years, so I'll just keep doing it. So Commissioner Simmons,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobson,
Yes.
Commissioner Chang,
Yes.
Chair St. John,
Yes.
Commissioner Barron,
Yes.
Vice Chair Woodson.
Yes.
A motion approved.
Okay, thank you. The next item, we start public hearings. Tonight, we have 2 public hearings on the agenda. The first one concerns the Mercedes-Benz car dealership address 2101 First Avenue. The second item is a gas station drive-through conditional use permit. Address 3001 Second Avenue. So let's start with the first one, the Mercedes-Benz car dealership. Guido, do we have a presentation?
I'm just pulling it up now. So,
Okay.
why is it, good evening, Commission. I will be the project planner for this. So just to provide some context, the property is basically in the southwestmost corner of the entire city. Duarte actually is the boundary between Seaside and Marina. It's shown as Opportunity Area 3 in the original specific plan adopted in 2005. This is just some addressing to show its relationship to the overall residential units within the dunes. And then the phase 4 opportunity is in general where the Kaiser site would potentially go. This site is Opportunity Area 3.2. So this is the general architecture. So there are 2 permits before the Planning Commission today. One's basically for a design review permit for the building, and then the tree removal permit. So the proposed architecture is basically approximately a 57,000 square foot building consisting of contemporary 2-story commercial building design for an architectural style consistent with current automotive dealership branding standards. The by primary showroom complemented by lower adjoining elements. The front elevation is characterized by prominent glazed showroom facade extending approximately 2 stories in height, which provides transparency and visual connectivity between the interior display area and the public realm. The project is consistent with all of the city's development standards. And just point of reference, the actual Mercedes-Benz site is approximately 6.1 acres. It's, as I've said, 56,000 square feet. There'll be approximately 80 employees at the site. And it's consistent with the parking and all the other standards identified in the staff report. So this is a design review permit before the Planning Commission. So I did spend quite a bit of time trying to be very thoughtful about the conditions of approval. We did take the tree permit to Planning Commission. So there is a condition of approval regarding tree 712 and 752, which we'll talk about more later. The property does abut residential. The original condition of approval I had was potentially green curbing the front, but in speaking with the applicant, there were concerns that having limited parking could affect the overall business model of the operation of the dealership. So I've drafted some additional language just basically to say within 1 year of operation of the business, that the applicant will work with the city to do some type of parking study to assess how the business is integrated into the overall dunes development. I am asking for a traffic control plan in terms of ensuring construction activity and limiting disruption to neighborhood properties. That's identified as condition of approval number 30. We are asking that there not be a loudspeaker within the car dealership. They've already indicated that's not part of their business model, but I just wanted to put it on the permit just to be safe. They'll have a silent paging system that they'll use as part of their operation. The lighting at a commercial development is really important to make customers feel that it's safe, that it's inviting, but we do want to have some controls over that. So you can review condition of approval 25, just basically asking for a more detailed lighting plan that I'll approve potentially prior to issuance of building permit. And then there is a language in that condition which we've had on the last 4 or 5 years of permits that the city does retain the right to modify the lighting if lighting becomes an issue with the neighborhood. So the design review permit is consistent with the 2000 general plan. By approving a design review permit within opportunity area 3.2, there will be a balance of land uses supported within general plan policy 4.79. And for general plan policy 2.38, the city will be capturing more local and regionally generated sales, directly implementing general plan policy 2.38. Signage. So signage is an important part of any commercial development, especially a car dealership. So the original site was supposed to be more of an office type use. So within the Dunes master sign program, there is language that if there's a substantial deviation from the original Dunes master sign program, that the applicant will submit a master sign program for the site. So I have put that as condition number 27, that prior to occupancy of the building, the applicant will be required to submit a master sign program for a review and approval by the Planning Commission. There is a monument sign that the applicant has worked out with the City Council as part of the incentive package. This is the conceptual design. The commission doesn't necessarily have jurisdiction over this, but your input is important tonight when I take this item to City Council in terms of the look and feel and if there's any other general comments. So the next permit before the Planning Commission tonight is a tree removal permit. We do have some newer planning commissioners, so I will kind of explain the overall history. So about 1.5 years ago, a tree removal permit was filed for the overall phase 3 of the Dunes, which included this site, the Kaiser site, and the residential within the Dunes. The tree committee did look at it, did recommend approval. And then about halfway through that process, there was a request to fast track the Kaiser site for potential making it a viable site. So the Planning Commission already approved those. And then we've waited on the 44 trees on the car dealership site because it was going to be tied to the design review permit before you today. So we have 3 separate tree removal reports from Patrick from Denise Duffy and Associates. I put those on the city website. There is a link in the packet. So in total, there are 44 trees recommended for removal on this particular property. And just to help out the commission and the public, so there's 44 trees on the property. 3 are dead. 17 are in poor health. 2 will be retained. So there's actually 22 trees in good or fair condition that need to be replanted at a 2-to-1 ratio. And once again, the removal of the trees is consistent with the general plan, with these policies identified on the slide. And now I'll go through the revised condition of approval. So I did release the packet early so the public and the applicant could review the staff report. It's a pretty detailed staff report. And I did prepare to help out the commission a memo that articulated some of the changes to the conditions. I've already gone over the first one about the green curbing. We did get updated hours of operation from the applicant. I omitted a paragraph in one of the city council resolutions, so I added that back. Talked about that already. there was a request to submit the lighting plan as part of the building permit, not the grading permit, which is completely appropriate. And the applicant wanted to point out that the revised landscaping plan does show that trees are not going over existing utilities. And then on Tuesday at around 5:30, I got a phone call from MST. And then they did submit a letter, which I've given to the Planning Commission, just reaffirming that there is a requirement for a bike connection all the way down to Duarte. So that's been added as condition of approval 53 to the permit. And this is the language, and it's also in the memo that I've given the commission. And there were questions. Thank you, Commissioner Chang, for your questions. So I will go through these one by one. So can staff clarify whether allowing automotive sales at the site sets a precedent for similar uses elsewhere in the dunes of the city? The answer is no. The authority to reclassify is already in the development agreement, and it's also actually already in the 2005 specific plan, which allows for recreational sales, recreational RV vehicles, which aren't allowed use for sale, which they are selling. They're selling automotive vehicles as well as the Sprinter vans, which are recreational vehicles. The next question was, what is the expected annual income return to the city? So there is a $5 million incentive in which the applicant has a 50% rebate from the sales tax for up to $5 million. And this is the projected sales tax revenue over the first 7 years. The question was, with 44 trees being removed, what will be the short-term visual and environmental impact? So there will be trees removed within the boundaries of the project, but as you can see in the green, all of these trees are Caltrans trees, which are not going to be touched as part of this project.
That's good.
Basically, what's the impact to residential? Those are all of the conditions I've already gone over. I've tried to be very mindful of not negatively impacting the residents that will be built in phase 3. And how will the future signage how will it align with the character of Marina and corporate branding? So I would say C, condition of approval 27. We will be asking the applicant to submit a master sign program to make sure that the signage is appropriate and consistent with the character of Marina. We have determined that per section 15183 of the CEQA guidelines that this project has already been analyzed within the University Village specific plan. And this is my very long recommended motion, which we can go over a later time. That concludes my initial presentation.
Okay, thank you, Guido. Is the applicant here to make a presentation at this time?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. Thank you, Chair St. John and the Planning Commission. I appreciate your service. I'm here tonight representing the Unstoppable Group, and we'll be coordinating the presentation amongst the professionals. I guess I sort of have my Dunes hat on backwards tonight, but I'm here specifically for Mercedes because many of you may know that I also represent the Shea Homes of the Dunes on Monterey Bay at times. And this, let me just start first by thanking you for bringing this to the commission. This is very important for the city of Marina for a variety of reasons. I want to thank Guido for his very comprehensive work on the staff report, as well as the timeliness, as well as recognizing the importance of this. So thank you, Guido, and your staff for that. I want to introduce, we have a number of professionals here, so I thought it was very important to have them both in person and online. The two owners are online as well with the Unstoppable Group in terms of Garth Blumenthal and Ken Roycroft. They are also online. But you have Andy Hunter with Whitson Engineering. You have Pat Cravacher with Denise Dussy and Associates. You may know Marina's tree expert. Thank you, Peter. Patrick. You also then have online, you have Abby Teeters, who is with Gensler, the project architect. And you also have Byron Williams with Vandertuin and Associates, which is a landscape architect. So we tried to, and I don't believe I'm leaving anybody else out, but we wanted to make sure that there was a comprehensive team here. So that if you had any questions of any of the disciplines, then you made sure you got the answers that you deserve to get. Let me just first start then by talking a little bit about, and this will go quickly. I just want to understand or reemphasize, as Guido had mentioned, this meets a number of the goals of the general plan, but also the specific plan. But particularly in terms of this type of a development, creating jobs and significant sales tax revenue for the city of Marina for replacement of what was lost, particularly with the base reuse when the base closed. There may not have been direct sales tax, but there was economic activity when the base closed. And as you know, or when the base was here, and as you know, those impacts were significant when it closed. And people sometimes forget, because it's been a long time. I know for me, it's been 21 years here working on this project specifically. And so people forget sometimes that, and a lot of you probably remember if you've been in Marina, that the city of Marina lost half its job and a third of its population overnight. It was very significant, also for Seaside and others. So this helps bring back that economic activity. And obviously with the way fiscal circumstances work in California for revenues, sales tax is very important, just like transit-oriented taxes, TOT taxes, hotels is also very important. So let me first, I want to kind of walk through a number of slides to give a little more depth and context as to what is being proposed here on a site plan and design review basis and a tree removal and replacement basis. So first, I'd like to introduce Abby Teeters, who's on the online, who will walk through a slide deck. The first to talk about the building elevations, and then a bit about the site plan, so you get an idea of the programmatic functions of what's happening on the site. So, Abby, if you can pull those up, please.
Guido, I don't know that I have permission to share.
You do.
Apparently, you do.
You do. You do.
Okay, then someone explain how to do it for me then, because I'm not seeing it as an option on my screen. I see transfer to room, but not share.
There's just a share button at the bottom.
There's not in what I'm looking at. Apologies to the room.
You have
Is she promoted to a presenter or panelist? I mean,
Where's Abby? Abby.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Perfect.
Did that work, Abby?
All right, now we're in business. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, one moment. All right, can we see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Doug, do you want to walk through these, or you want me to run with it?
Yeah, considering they're your drawings, Abby, I feel much more comfortable with you walking through those, and I don't want to practice architecture or design without a license. So if you would go ahead, please.
These were in Guido's presentation as well, but this is a Mercedes-Benz dealership, roughly 50,000 square feet. The elevation is mostly glass and metal panel with signage on different facades. I'm actually skip back to this. So the overall height is under 30 feet. It's right around 30 feet. So it's got a presence on the highway, but it's not a massive presence. I'm going to flip through these. We have a showroom with a service shop attached, and also with a detached Sprinter service building as well on the site. So this is our site plan that explains this a little more in detail. We have a showroom portion, the service drive where the customers will drop off their vehicles, and a service shop with car wash and then detached service for the Sprinter vans. The site is secure with gates, and there will also be fire lane access, which is what you're seeing around here through a Knox box system. We have the highway up here, and then what we were talking about also is the Caltrans trees are here as well on the roadway there. Let's see. We have exhibits for the grading plans and other site-specific things. Andrew, I didn't know if you wanted to point out anything very specific on your plans.
Sorry, I'll jump in real quick. Abby, Andy Hunter, Woodson Engineers. The grading and drainage plan you'll see on your screen here, the blue cyan, I also say boxes at the top represent underground stormwater chambers. Just like all sites in Marina, we're required to retain our stormwater on the property. So all water will be collected, filtered, and then allowed an opportunity to get back into the ground. If you flip to the next page, Abby, shows a few of the site utilities. This has been planned along with the Dunes development. So there are sewer, dry utilities, gas and electric out in the road, water out in the main First Avenue as well. So everything is teed up to be extended off to the building in an efficient manner.
I believe these are the turning radius files that show how the truck vehicles and larger vehicles can get in and out of the site easily. And we ran 2 different auto turn models to prove out that it'll work. And we also have landscape plans as they populate.
Yeah,
And it
Abby, do
takes
you want
minutes
to
to watch
have
that.
Byron talk a little bit about those landscape plans then?
Yep.
And some of the emphasis, Byron, that might be in there with native plants and so forth?
Sure. It still seems like it's loading. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. I still don't see all of it.
It's coming up.
There, yeah, okay. A lot of color. Takes some time. So, yes, we took the mitigation that was required of us, 44 trees to replace, and we provided that and then some. So we have I believe on the bottom it shows 65. We have perimeter trees, interior trees, the street frontage trees, and so forth. Early on last year, we had a different preliminary plant legend for shrubs and infill. And meeting with the vice chair of the tree committee, Mr. Simmons, we had a phone conversation. And out of that phone conversation, we've redid our whole plant palette to be more coastal California species and natives. As you can see on the top left, that's the existing conditions from Caltrans. To give you a sense of what it is, those are the trees that aren't being removed. This is the revised plan. We had an earlier plan that we did have some conflicts with the easements and some utilities, and so it's slightly different for our street frontage trees, but we are clear and meet the setbacks required to not have any conflicts.
Thank you, Byron.
You're welcome.
I think, is there anything else? Did you want to emphasize? No? Okay. We can talk a moment about the tree removal and replacement plan. You obviously talked in the landscape plan about the 65 trees coming in, but I don't know, Patrick, if you want to take a moment. Just to talk a little bit about the tree removal plan, and then at the conclusion of that, we'll be able to, I think Abby will show the video as well. There's a fly-through video that shows it, what it looks like, both from the elevations, landscaping, and so forth. So, Patrick?
So yeah, Patrick Kraybacher with Denise Duffy and Associates. It's pretty sadly straightforward. The grade has to go up and down so much through that whole area. So there's really no way that those trees could survive. And I know we talked about this last year, St. John, but it's basically all related to grading. And then Guido hit it on the head as far as a windbreak and a visual barrier. I initially had the sticker shock with the trees coming out in that row, but there is a significant amount of trees along that Caltrans corridor, and that really comforted me a lot. So that's basically it. But I'm here for any questions as they come up. Thanks.
Another
I
view.
want to mention this wasn't part of this application, but it was part of the previous one that Guido had mentioned that the Dunes got for the larger phase 3 was a relocation of a very large cypress tree that is now in the roundabout in 9th Street, which also has some really cool Fort Ord historical commemoration that will come out soon. You'll hear about what those spires are and all of that. So just a plug for that. But now, Abby, maybe you could show the video, if you would, please, representation. This is something that obviously really illustrates the trees on the Highway 1 quarter that remain. It also was a request of the City Council in their approval of an incentive agreement for this project to, be able to really illustrate what it may look like. So go ahead, Abby.
There we go.
So you're moving north, obviously up Highway 1,
Yep.
looking
And-
east. The dealership is behind all of that. Obviously,
And
it's
the trees were, sorry, Doug, the trees
no, go
were
ahead.
evaluated through a LIDAR survey, or LIDAR survey, sorry, for everyone's
LIDAR.
education. And so I'm not saying it correct, I apologize. And so we tried to get them as accurate as possible for this rendering. So it would show that it is very shaded and they are providing a lot of visual cover from the highway. And now
And
we're
these are
into
the new
building
trees
itself.
planted
Mhm.
on site that you see. And then the building, the north side of the building, correct, Abby?
North side of the building coming up. This is the First Avenue side,
hmm
rolling through the service area and then coming up on the showroom itself. As you can see, it's a very much of a jewel box for the showroom. So it's a nice, very nice building that'll enhance the area, hopefully. Some outdoor spaces for community involvement. And that's it.
Right. And Abby, those are the colors that are anticipated,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah, the palette is what you saw there. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So thank you, commissioners, for the opportunity to present all of that. On behalf of the Unstoppable Group, thank you again for your time, and available for questions from any of the experts then involved in this important development and site plan and design review and tree removal. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Now we move on to let's see. Do we have public comments now, or?
That's at your discretion, Chair. You can either have the commission ask general questions or just open up for public comment and then bring it back. That's your call.
Okay, why don't we take round one of the commissioners' comments and questions this time? All right. We will start. I see that Paul Chang, Commissioner Chang,
You want me to start first?
yeah, you can
Okay.
start.
Well, thank you very much for your presentations. I think it's a very good news for Marina City to have Mercedes coming here. I think it elevates the whole image of Marina City as well. Knowing that Mercedes is a quality high-end vehicles. And I think there's a market here too, because I see a lot of new residents here are driving Tesla. And hoping that it may change. My question is, I think earlier, I didn't have your name. You said the water collected and then will be filtered, right? So is there a water treatment system installed, and is there a lump system in case the water is is polluted and not allowed to be discharged? So is there a lump system installed in it?
So the details of the exact parameters of how we will filter the water, will be on our construction drawings. It'll be a combination of inside the parking lot, what are called bioretention ponds, where I think the VA hospital has some, you might see locally, where the water will go through some vegetation and organic soil that is able to remove pollutants before that water gets in the ground. And then the other ways are more mechanical, where these vaults in the ground will help filter the pollutants out before it goes into the chamber system to get into the ground. So it's not meant for filtering water to reuse for potable drinking. It's meant to remove pollutants before re-entering the ground.
Okay. Does the service center have a waste disposal plan? I know because in a service center, you have a lot
Right.
of, engine oil, waste engine oil, and all the maybe rubber material need to be disposed.
I see. Good point. So what I was discussing had to do with the exterior, the rainwater that hits the roof or hits the ground, and how I'd collect and treat that. Inside the building, any spills and oil will be contained and collected and dealt with internally and not let out into the environment.
Okay. The second concern I have is the traffic. Maybe someone can address it, because the location here, you're having the First Avenue, and First Avenue is linking to a seaside city, and the hospital is coming up as well. So that traffic will be very heavy over there on the First Avenue. And this morning when I was driving through and going to Second Avenue, I also realized Second Avenue traffic is heavy. It's hard for me to get out because there's no traffic like that. Not on that location where you are.
Right. Correct.
So how are you going to handle all this traffic problem?
Well, the traffic was analyzed very carefully in the environmental impact report for the University Village specific plan. The volumes, in fact, I heard from one of the city's traffic engineers this morning on another related thing, that the volumes that they were anticipating from that EIR for the development specifically coming to the south of Dunes is significantly less than what was contemplated. And that EIR has, requirements of improvements throughout the whole area, but not necessarily to signalization there because of the traffic volumes. You're right, there will be a variety of traffic coming down First Avenue, DeVarty, Second Avenue, and there are future improvements coming to all of that. But it is designed, the street improvements that went in on First Avenue, and Annie could talk about the cross section of what that looks like. But those were all recently approved by the city in concert with their traffic engineers for the capacity of all the uses anticipated. And as recently it's been now installed into the ground for the most part, where the curb lines are. There's some striping improvements and a few things, but for the most part, the street section has been put in place. That does anticipate the flow of traffic from all the uses up and down First Avenue. Or Second Avenue coming down over to DeVarty. It is important, I think, for the city of Marina to retain two-way traffic on First Avenue South in the city of Seaside, even though the Marina doesn't control it. I think it would be important for the city of Marina to express to Seaside, please keep that former Army Road, now with First Avenue in the city of Seaside in their main gate program, that's a project that's coming forward, keep that two-way traffic down to Light Fighter. So that's something that city doesn't control of Marina, but I think it would make sense, in my opinion, that you'd want to express that just for the purposes that you described, that you want as much flow out of there as possible, and folks coming up from Light Fighter potentially. There also the delivery of vehicles are on site, accommodated on site, but they would anticipate to come up from Light Fighter either up the First Avenue or up Second Avenue and over down to Vardy, not go up any farther north, make their delivery, and then back down to Light Fighter onto the freeway. So the benefit of this project versus being in the heart of Marina with a car dealer or in the middle of the dunes is that it's on the edge of the city, and the traffic impacts really are, lack of a better term, exported that way. And it really, Marina gets the benefit of the sales tax, jobs, and all of that, but
All right.
mitigation to some degree, obviously, of the traffic, and not like we're in the middle of the city. So that's one advantage of having it in the southwest corner. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, you did.
Commissioner Chen.
And thank you very much. And also, I thank Director Guido for answering most of my questions there. Really appreciate that. I just want to make sure that the question number one, you say I understand you say no. And what I want to know is when future proposal, would that still require review and are not automatically permitted?
So just for the benefit of the audience, your first question, let me just pull it up off the screen. Yeah, so there's no precedent set because whenever this type of interpretation goes through my office or through the city manager, we have to look at what was done in the past, what was the context for the approval. In this case, the specific plan already allows recreational vehicle sales, and the car dealership is selling automobiles as well as the Sprinter vans, which is a recreational vehicle. So it's a very easy interpretation to make. So.
All right. And when it comes to the signage, earlier you mentioned that if any deviations from the master sign programs, I just want to confirm it will come back to planning commissions to review?
Yes. If you go to your packet, condition of approval number 27, it's written that prior to occupancy of the building, the applicant will submit a master sign program for review and approval by the planning commission.
Right. Thank you very much. That's all I had. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Just one other clarification. The signage, I recall seeing in the package for our review, some signage already proposed for the dealership. Do you see it?
I'm sorry. I'm getting older. I
Am
have
I
to switch
dreaming?
glasses. So I have to switch glasses when I'm looking. So.
The CB's plan signage?
Maybe I'm dreaming.
Are you
but I was
referring
thinking-
to?
So for the commission, so in your packet, in the staff report, is the prototype of the monument sign that the applicant, as part of the incentive package with the city council, is agreeing to build and maintain in perpetuity. So that will be built. There'll probably be some discussion at the council about that. And what will be coming back to the planning commission will be a master sign program for the overall signage within the actual project, but not that monument sign.
Yeah.
So
Okay, thank you.
That's what I'm referring to.
Okay. Vice Chair Woodson, you have some questions, comments?
Yeah. I think mine are more, not questions, they're more statements at this point. Because I don't have questions, I withdraw all my questions. The first one is that I'm coming back to coordination pieces. Most of the things, if we're supporting Mercedes, then we need to support them 100% on this. And that means that there are secondary issues that are around the Mercedes dealership. And I'm going to start with the trees with Caltrans. As great as the LiDAR survey is, those trees are in average condition. They have a lot of dead spots. Caltrans ignores them. And if we want to do something, then I would recommend that the staff look at how we can partner with Caltrans to maintain that facade because those trees look ugly. And that is not, if we're putting in a multi-million-dollar facility that is going to draw regional, because the Mercedes dealer is a regional maintenance shop, then we should be looking at that and supporting them at all avenues. And those trees are not the image that we want to have along 80% of their frontage. The second part builds on that, and that's the monument sign. It's an incentive program. We've built this great monument that Mercedes has offered up, which is amazing in how it looks. It's at the edge of First Avenue, which is a minor entry point into our city. We have multiple gateways. And so from a staffing perspective, I think that it would be good if we had a proposal that looks at our gateways and creates at least some level of consistency that builds off of what Mercedes is offering. We don't have to have the same level of gorgeous gateway monument that's shown from the highway, but at our other gateway points into the city, we should have more than just falling down plywood that represents the same thing. And we really, at the time that Mercedes is finishing this, that would be a great win marketing wise to the city to have those built at the same time that Mercedes opens up and shows the monument. The third part is First Avenue. I've said it before, and I will continue to say this. The city of Marina and the city of Seaside have to work together on this corridor. If we do not do this, as Main Gate comes up over the next few years and gets developed, we run the risk of really sabotaging a lot of the efforts that we are making with Marina. And having talked to the Seaside senior planner, I am not confident that he has the best interests of Marina in mind. Now, that's not his job. His job is to promote Seaside, but we have to make sure that the best interests of Marina and our businesses are appropriately recommended, whether that's Mercedes or Kaiser or MST. We've got to be able to short it because those are important aspects of what we do. Those are the three main things I have. The last one is on condition 27 on the signage. Just kind of curious at why that's stopping at the commission. Since the city council has usurped the power of the planning commission on design review, and that they have taken charge of the planning process, and it no longer stops with us and becomes an appeal authority to the city council, because the design review and tree removal should have stopped here. Since it's not, and they've taken that as an incentive, and they have that right, I guess, because even though it's a quasi-judicial, not legislative, then why are they stopping at the city thing? I want consistency. And I would like to know down the road from a planning commission, when are we going to have control over the process, and when are we not going to have control over the process in the city? Those are my comments.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Woodson. Next, we have Commissioner Jacobson. Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. So I think the plans for the dealership and where it is and what it's going to bring to Marina is actually tremendous. I'm so glad that it's coming here and in that end of the town, which may bring people to this end of the town. Who knows? If that corridor is open. The other thing is that I was prepared to come in here and I guess ask a lot more questions about the removal of the trees. I was thinking that the real reason for the removal of the trees was that so the dealership could be seen by Highway 1. And now that I'm reviewing and seeing the Calcans trees, that's not the case at all. And I also thought it was kind of a construction thing, but it's not. It's because of the engineering and where the water's going to flow and all that sort of thing. So I want you, all of that for me has been relieved. And the addition of the 67 trees on the site, where they are, the kind of trees you're putting there, I'm in favor of all that. So, thank you for your efforts on that part, even though I was ready to say, oh, thank you. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacobson. Okay, Uh, Yes, Commissioner Barron,
Thank you.
you're up.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the presentation. Yes, looks like people are excited about this project. And I have to confess that I felt very much like you about the trees being removed from the highway to have drivers see it. However, I do hope that we can do a separate motion for the trees since it's a very serious issue for us to talk about. So if my colleagues don't mind, we can have a second motion for the trees, a separate motion for the trees and one for the design. So we can at least, it looks like that we are taking it very seriously, recommending to remove 44 trees. 22 of them are in fair condition, I guess, okay condition. They didn't look that awful to me when I went to look at it yesterday. So one of the things I was hoping to see, but I don't know if it's possible, is to kind of superimpose the project on this map with the sand and the trees, so I can see where the border of the parking of the entire field come to the trees, so I can see where the trees are, how the trees are bordering this area, because I can't really tell how far the buildings, the pavement ends and the trees stop. So I can really make a very educated decision about exactly how many of them must be removed, because maybe some of them can be saved and trimmed a little bit and to make them a little bit nicer than they look. And I agree that not every tree looks very nice, but I would like to know if that's is possible, because the arborist did not make a recommendation. Really, it looks to me from what I read that arborist did not make a recommendation. He did not have an opinion on removing the trees, but I do see in two places that it states it's necessary to accommodate the completion of the project, and it will impede the grading. So I would like to see how some of the trees that are very close to the fence, maybe some of them could be saved. Thank you.
That very issue was looked at. I believe we may have a graphic that can be pulled up. I don't know, Abby, if you've got, but we can be spoken to by the engineer, Whitson, and of course by our arborist that is advising. But what you had, Commissioner Barron had looked at it. That's an exercise that the project went through, and the professionals went through to look specifically, okay, how many of these trees could really be saved given all of the constraints that happen when you're developing a property, particularly grading, infrastructure, even, and there were several trees or 2 trees that are saved on there in addition to the new ones coming. But you have to think about how that works. And you can see with the site plan and an overlay, you could see that, the building proximity, having to make sure you maintain those elevations and others. And then the arborist can talk as well about how trees don't do well if you try to provide a lot of engineering solutions around them and maintain the grades, and have these big tree wells or these big retaining walls or other things around, and the tree roots suffer. And then there's not a good success rate with a lot of that, and still be able to maintain the constraints or relative to all of the site needs on there. And I believe, Abby, you're pulling up the revised landscape plan here, and I'll turn it over now to Andy with Whitson Engineering.
I pulled it up.
You mind going to this?
Are you talking about the final page? I think I have it. I can pull it up if that's what you're looking at.
The grading
The
and
new
drainage
one?
plan, do you have that on the end, Abby?
I do. One moment. Let me get it open.
Yeah, Abby, if the grading and drainage plan will show our contours, and then we'll start there, and then I have some sections at the end of our presentation we had just in case Commissioner Barron, this question came up. So if this gets
So
loaded
here
here.
is grading and drainage.
So if you're able to zoom in on the highway edge there as close as you can. So the site grading has a 2% slope from First Avenue sloping towards the ocean, sloping towards the highway. 2% is the same grade you'd have on as a cross slope of a road. So you can't really see it, but 2 feet for every 100. As this grade falls down towards the highway, we're trying to find a balance of keeping the site flat so you can drive on it, but also take up grade in the direction that the general terrain is going. The parking lot itself, having enough parking for the site was obviously an important characteristic, and that had to fit on the property. And then we had to, take up the remaining space with this contour difference. So there's about 6 feet of fill that needs to be made up between the edge of the property at the highway and the parking lot. So all those black lines that you see parallel to the parking lot, each one of those represents 1 foot of elevation change. It's kind of hard to see here, but there's some really faint X's that represent that overlay, Commissioner Barron, that you were asking about, that where the trees exist today and how they are either in the parking lot or in the slope. In a moment, we can flip to the end of the packet with a section, but as Doug Yount was explaining here, that and Patrick can attest to, there are always ways of, we first look at how can we manipulate the grade to get things naturally to fit around existing, in this case, trees. We do everything we can to push the site down in this case, but if we pushed it any lower, it would be too steep, or be even further below First Avenue and not be able to get our pipes to drain back appropriately. And then secondly, we look to what's a structural option that we can do to try and put a box around the tree and save it. We studied a few of those when we did some field walks on this. Yeah, I guess it was 1.5 years ago. And we'll jump to this exhibit in a moment here, but the structural frame around the tree, Patrick had an opinion about the likelihood of that tree being saved. I always think back to the Del Monte Shopping Center. The movie theater got built now decades ago. There's those big empty tree wells where trees were saved, and now they're just empty because they tried to wall around them and the tree didn't live. Maybe before I jump to the end here, is this the overlay starting to answer your question, I guess, before I go to the section?
You're a little bit clearer.
Okay.
And I'm of course, I support this project. I just want to be serious about removal of trees, because since I have been on the planning commission, I had to vote for removal of more than 100 trees. And I feel my karma is going to start changing. So
It is a topic we take very seriously, and I understand.
Yeah. So my other question, my last question. So the trees that are going to be planted, the 44 trees,
65.
65 that are going to be planted.
In excess of the 44.
Where are they going to be planted, and when are they going to be planted? And are we going to
I
see
pulled
them?
up that plan. It should be loading for
Yeah.
you guys now.
So they're scattered around the property, around the perimeter within the parking lot. So they would be, frankly, not planted on day one. They're planted after the hardscape is put down, and the pockets are left for them. So first the site would be graded, then the hardscape, the concrete, the asphalt would be placed, and then after that, the landscape would be put down.
So we will see new trees being planted in my lifetime.
Before the project is open.
Okay. Thank you very much. No more question.
Yeah, and I would point the commission to condition of approval 13, which we will be asking for a bonding for the landscaping. And that it has to, hopefully it lasts longer, but at a minimum of at least 2 years. So, cause the concept is you don't want somebody to just throw something down and then it dies 2 months later. So that's a way that the commission can have assurance that the landscaping will hopefully take root and thrive within those first couple years. So.
Mr. Chair, if possible, I just want to respond to one more thing. You can see that they're obviously with the, the 65 additional trees. And when you talk about tree removal, it's really important to remember that many of the trees, in this case, let's say of the 44, 22 are not in good shape and are dying or are very poor. So it's really 22 of the more healthy trees that are removed. So I don't know if this is more calming to you, but 22 to 65, maybe you get 3 times the karma going that way. I'm not sure. Just thought I'd mention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gala. Let me jump in. I have a couple of comments, and then we've got another somewhat additional bites of the apple down the way. Just a couple of comments. First, on page 3 of our packet, under landscaping, the tree committee a year and a half ago or so had asked for a second in-depth look at trees 712 and 752, which were some of the more elegant trees. And you did do a in-depth feasibility study of any way to save those two, and came up with it was not feasible due to the high cost of retaining walls, in addition to the probability or lack of probability of it being successful. And so we have to lose those. And I agree. I think I appreciate the effort that y'all have gone into to save those two, and accept that your initial thoughts bore out that they have to go. Okay, then the last thing that I have is on page 10 or so. You talked about retaining trees 732 and 730, two trees that might be possible. The study on 732 said it's possible to keep it, but you'll have to see. And can you give a little more on 732?
Well, my understanding, and Andy or Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong, is that the plan does save tree 732. That is anticipated to be saved.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that tree will be retained.
Okay, now 730, I'm a little confused on 730 because on figure 3 of your report, it shows 730 up in the upper left-hand corner.
Right.
And color-coded core, which means you might can save it, but it might not.
No. The main issue with all these trees, and I think Woodson brought it up really great, was the neglect in this whole zone for maintenance. And he was specifically, you were speaking to the Caltrans trees. All these trees could benefit from some sort of maintenance, but that one I just found in poor condition during the survey. I'm still going to say we preserve it. I had to add it to this report because its root zone fell within the project limits. So we will be impacting some form of its drip line root zone. But no, I would still advocate to save it.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's going to decline and die. I'm saying in that moment in time, I determined it was in poor condition because of, if off the top of my head, I can think about most of these trees had large hanging limbs, dead, overabundance of dead wood. There were some boring beetles in some spots, a lot of fungus. But
Is there a plan to clean it up a little bit? Or,
that falls within the next phase, so that's not something I can answer. But I don't know. That's for the future, I guess. Yeah.
because there were very few that were being retained.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
does seem
Totally
like
agree.
if you're going to retain some poor ones that might need a little tender loving care, that might be an
Yeah.
opportune time to give it to them.
Yeah. I think a tree of that size in poor condition, it's probably got a long life left because
Okay.
a lot of these trees are, yeah, they're pretty large, but it being in poor condition, I don't have any doubts. But I can't speak to maintenance for it or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's all I have. And let me see, we've got another couple of, right. You haven't had a chance yet. Okay, Commissioner Rana, your floor.
Okay. We have some conditions of approval. This is for the staff. We have condition of approval 21 and number 30. The applicant is supposed to provide a parking plan and also the traffic control plan. So what's the timeline for these plans to come up? Because they are conditions of approval.
Which condition of approval? I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
It's page 3.
Page 3. Parking plan. The draft it says prior to issuance of building permit, the applicant shall provide a parking plan. That denotes customer and employee parking. So, and the traffic control plan was condition of approval. Trying to find it.
Showing several.
Where did I put it? Condition of approval 30. When they apply for their encroachment permits with Public Works, that's when we'll have a traffic control plan. So I'll be especially focused on that one because we have a county building about one parcel over, and there was quite a bit of communication from that county office about some when Devarte got closed for construction. So I'll definitely be looking and reviewing the traffic control plan with Edry and Public Works for this particular project. So.
Okay. And one very basic question. Who is responsible for maintaining the new trees which are going to come up? The builder or?
Who's responsible for the new trees? The new trees will be on the site.
Yeah.
And that would be the responsibility of the dealership to maintain, the owners of the dealership and
Yeah.
part of their maintenance plan.
But the trees are being planted by the builder. And the dealership is going to maintain them. So the
Correct.
agreement, the city's agreement is with the dealership or with the builder?
So Mercedes-Benz will hire a contractor, and then that contractor will have to follow these conditions of approval. But ultimately, the applicant is Mercedes-Benz, and they'll be responsible for all the trees, all the landscaping. And then, like I mentioned earlier, we have a bond we're going to be asking for the landscaping to make sure that gives the landscaping a couple of years to thrive. And so, yeah.
Thank you. That's all.
Commissioner Jacobson, you have some additional.
I only have one thing for the arborist. We talked about the slope and how the drainage would probably not allow those trees to live anyway. They'd get waterlogged. How far is that water going? Is it also going to kill the trees on the Caltrans side?
I think you got a Andy question, but all the water's being contained on site, right, Andy? that right? Yeah,
That's
that's
correct.
correct.
That's correct.
So yeah,
Well, then why was water called out as one of the reasons that you said these trees wouldn't live anyway because of the water coming down?
the trees won't survive because of grading.
Because of the
Right.
dirt. the
Yeah.
dirt.
What's the
Dirt.
grading?
So grading, they gotta cut down to then fill. So that's eliminating all of their root zones. And then if you look at the site plans, it goes directly through every single tree's trunk.
Okay.
So there's
So it had nothing to do with
No,
water flow?
no.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. We will open the discussion and questions to the public. So we'll start with the public here in attendance. You come up and turn it on, name.
Hey, how you doing? Mike Muller, Marina resident. I didn't actually expect to come here and see this in person. I was going to do the facilities tour again, but this is actually more interesting.
We limit the discussion from each person to 3 minutes.
Correct. Yeah, thank you. I don't have any complaints actually. Surprisingly, I'm really excited for this dealership and the revenue that it'll produce for Marina. I hope it's successful, and I hope it other successful development in that area brings lots of good luck, and maybe avoids any further taxes to build any facilities. I don't know. I'm sure all of you saw Mercedes of Temecula. It almost looks like the dealership down there is almost a copy and paste of a high hilltop with the entrance sign, and it's actually pretty brutal. I trust the developer to do a pretty good job. I don't know if that sign is the permanent one. I missed the discussion on the sign. I was kind of hoping for something a little more along the lines of that stone that goes along. I think that was four-doored stone. I kind of like that style, but other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I hope this gets done fast. I hope the city council doesn't try to make a bunch of changes or get nitpicky about things. And let's do it. Let's get some Mercedes in here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in attendance that wants a shot? Okay, let's go to the telephone.
Yep.
I'm sorry, to the.
Hello?
iPhones.
Hello.
Alex, we can hear you, Alex.
Okay, hello, my name is Alex Stewart. I'm 73 years old and my family moved here in 1961. And I'm actually pretty ignorant about the project. I don't know what stage you're really at. And my comments might be inappropriate. But I just want to remind everybody that, Marina has always been the lowest socioeconomic community on the peninsula for my whole life. And I've been fine with that. We used to always call it the armpit of the peninsula. And I was kind of proud of that moniker. So it seems that the Mercedes dealership seems kind of inappropriate. The stuff they build out, this new shopping center with Kohl's and Target and everything, that serves the populace of Marina, but nobody I know can buy a Mercedes. So I know you guys are looking forward to the tax money, but I don't know. I'm glad it's in the southwest corner. It's nice that it's out of the way, that you guys plan for it to attract regional people. I don't care for that part too much. But the number one thing about Marina has always been its diversity. When I was going to school here and when my son came up through school, I'm a white guy and my son is a white guy. And there are many times in his class where he was the only white kid, and that was good. And that was a good way for us to grow up because we learned about different cultures and about how everybody is the same and equal, but our cultures are different, and that's cool. We learned a lot from our different culture friends. And the diversity of Marina is changing. You know, you have this high-end Mercedes thing going in, the new houses that are going in. Maybe those people can afford Mercedes. And it seems to me like most of the people that are buying out there are white, so that the demographics of the city are changing also. But I don't know how appropriate any of this is, but it doesn't seem like a Mercedes dealership benefits the traditional diversity of Marina, which is slowly getting lost because of things like this. Thank you.
Thank you for your wisdom and comments. I'm not sure how to resolve it if it is something that needs to be resolved, but we probably should think about whether it's fair to say that the Mercedes dealership is more of a premium entry into Marina, where we're not used to premium entries like that. But I think we have to remember that this is 2026 and not 1966. You know, so anyway, I think we're way past the point of and legally, contractually obligated to this this particular enterprise going forward. Now, tonight we are chartered to make a decision on the tree removal permit. And what was the other,
So there's two permits before the commission today. There is a design review permit for the building and then a tree removal permit. And under the municipal code, the reason why the commission didn't look at the tree permit when this came a year or so ago is because the Muni code mandates that the commission look at both at the same time, which makes sense, kind of a comprehensive analysis. So,
okay. So anyway, it has been probably about a year and a half since the initial review of the tree permit was started. And I remember walking the site at that time, and we hugged every tree. Absolutely. And we had, at that time, we didn't have a drawing of the site grading plan, but we did have an expert that gave us, we could kick the sand and know that they had to go up 6 feet here and down several feet over there where they had little bumps. So we pretty much, I think there were about 10 or 12 people on the site survey.
that's true. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
correct.
And yeah, we, as I say, we hugged every tree there and did our best to pick out the best trees there. And I think it was just a couple of them that we said, take another look and see if you can salvage those two. And I'm convinced that that was a wish that we didn't get, but a couple of more they were able to save. So I think they've done their best, and the tree committee, me as a representative, would agree that they did their job. So if they're, let's see, we have some more discussion. One last.
I want to say something.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Well, I just want to respond to the earlier Alex comments. I believe Mercedes have already done their feasibility study, and they know they are not serving Marina City alone. They're looking at the whole county. Because I came from Vacaville, the Mercedes in Fairfield, but in fact, a lot of buyers are from Bay Area. So it's very different. And also there's a group of new residents that are coming in from Bay Area living in the dunes. They prefer to have a high-end car. So I think I have not seen Mercedes dealers have anyone have closed and collapsed. And so I'm pretty confident it's the right decisions. I really appreciate Marina pick Mercedes pick Marina. I think thank you very much. The other question I had is I know we talk about the trees and I like the AI image of the new trees that are coming. But again, trees don't grow overnight, right? So during this transition period, I just wondering, is there a strategy to reduce the visual gap? Or you're just waiting to just plant the new tree and just leave it and waiting for 3 years, 5 years to grow up?
Yes,
Chairman,
please.
I guess I'm not quite sure I understand your question, and I might have the landscape architect, Byron Williams with Vandertulen, to answer this in terms of the time frame of the growth of the trees and what the size of the trees that are planted. Is that
Right.
Byron, can you answer that question, the landscape plan, please?
The reason I'm saying, because when you remove the tree, it'll be very bad. Everything will be open up. There's no blockage of the visual. Everything will be exposed, correct?
When the new trees are planted, if they're small, or are you talking about removal of the old ones?
Remove the old one and plant the new tree. The new tree is small.
Correct.
And then the visual is pretty clear. There's no gap. I mean, everybody could see it, right?
Well, except that all the trees on the highway will remain in Caltrans right of way. Those aren't touched. So all of those are, they may need to be in the future have some, but all those along the highway will remain. That's not in the project. Those are remaining. And as you saw in the video, those are the actual trees that are there. And
no, the remove one, this is all removed, right? No, that's what I'm saying. But he's saying there are other trees along the freeway.
those remain.
Yeah, remain. Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
and you saw in the video when you're driving up Highway 1, you look back at the dealership and there's trees. I mean, it's a really good visual view of and corridor for all those trees. And yes, some of them do have issues as Commissioner Woodson had mentioned and others, but those remain.
Okay.
And it's just the ones that are inside those, just inside the city, the site plan that are being removed. So, and then of course, one very big one, remember I mentioned, went to the roundabout at 9th Street in the Dunes project, and it's 30 feet or some, it's huge. And when they moved it, it was like moving the pyramids with the little roller things on the bottom on the platform. And it was interesting. Thank you.
Okay, it's good to know. Thank you for clarification. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Gala.
Thank you, Chair. Question about the sign, the Welcome to Marina sign. Just for orientation, you see it if you come from Light Fighter and you turn north. That's how
Yeah, the best way to think about that, if I may, Mr. Chairman, is that sign, a couple of things. One, you'll see it most predominantly as right when you go past Light Fighter and that road the Highway 1 turns a little, you're going to see that Welcome to Marina sign. And it is a suggestion here because the city hasn't completed, if I'm correct, hasn't completed their design of the gateway signs. Could be one of many gateway signs, but the city hasn't completed. So this is just a representation of what may make sense of where it would go. But if you back up, and you may have noticed it on the video, but if you're going to see that most predominantly when you're driving up Highway 1 in the right-hand lane, and you look up after you cross Light Fighter, and you're looking up onto the highway and it just starts to turn, it's going to be right there. And I mean, it's a great location for a welcome to Marina sign. I mean, it's going to be really prominent. And at one time, there was a gateway sign program in the city a number of years ago. And I know that's being looked at by the city's landscape architect who does great work. And she's looking at all of that, and she's going to be giving recommendations to Guido and to the, I imagine, Planning Commission and the council about what that gateway signage should be. And then specifically in this location that's proposed, you know, how is that going to work? Is it going to have the logo? What's the wording going to be? This is just a depiction of what could be. But the important part about this is this is roughly where the sign would be in relation to the dealership behind it. And that was a requirement of the city council to say, please illustrate how that might work. And then I would imagine the council will become engaged in, you know, the future gateway signs of all of that.
So I'm driving north on
Mhm.
Highway 1 and I'm looking to the right and I can see that from,
You go across the bridge, an light fighter,
okay.
and you're looking into the trees, basically, on the right side, looking basically into the gateway or the main gate project of Seaside. You turn, this corner of this project is what you see when you turn over the bridge, you know, because the First Avenue underneath into the new Fort Ord State Park is right in front of the sign, right? That First Avenue goes down, and then you go over that underpass.
Okay.
And if you get a chance and you make the drive, next time you're driving that, just take a look and you'll see the graded site when you come up. You'll go, okay, now I understand where that is.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Reyna.
Yeah, a quick question for the applicant that the facility has a car wash and also maintenance place. So it will generate some chemical waste. So what do you plan to do with that? And
Yeah.
will it also have an impact for the neighboring communities and particularly the medical facility which is coming up next door?
Yeah, I'll let the architect address how, you know, all of the chemicals and all the things that are used in cleaning of cars or maintenance of vehicles that are all interior, all inside, their various programs. And, you know, the one thing that was looked at in this site plan very carefully, of course, was its proximity to residential, because particularly with Shea Homes right there, I mean, those homes are going to be just to the north and northeast and just up a little ways and north of 3rd Street. And so it's, there's a lot of sensitivity to these dealership. And I think the Mercedes dealers, the owners, as well as the Unstoppable Group, as well as the architect, have done a good job, very good job of making sure that the programs, the use, the layout of the site plan is very compatible with a residential neighborhood close. And they have other dealerships that the residents are real close to. And so they're sensitive to that. And I think it's the site plan reflects that. But Abby, I don't know if you could address then just what's typically done in a dealership then relative to chemicals on site for either maintenance or cleaning.
And before Abby does, I would want to point to the commission, the condition of approval number 19. Prior to issuance of building permits, clearance from the county environmental health department must be obtained.
Right.
So any oil, chemicals, whatnot, all that stuff has to get cleared through county health. Issue the building permit until we have that clearance from county health department. So.
Right.
And to piggyback on that, Guido, a typical building permit application will include the extensive list of all chemicals to be used in the service shop. They are not, some are tagged as hazardous. They mostly are not. It's usually oils and, you know, exfoliants and things like that. But I'm not using the right word for that. Apologies. But anyway, any chemicals that are in the shop, like let's say oil, if you're getting your oil change as an example, that oil gets put into a containment system within the shop that then is removed from the building. It is never put into the local system ever. It goes And to mitigate that, there's also things like sandals, interceptors and things like that, so that nothing will go into groundwater or water supply or anything like that. So there are a lot of factors to make sure that never happens. And the chemicals that are used in these shops are not extremely hazardous. They have they're actually much more eco-friendly over the years, if you want to say it that way. It is still oil, but the way to mitigate it is a very controlled, methodical way to do it inside the building. I hope that answers or helps.
Yes, thank you. This is not their first rodeo. Okay, Commissioner Vice Chair Woodson.
Thanks. Design review permit. Guido, can I get some clarification on what it is that we're supposed to be reviewing with the design review? What are the boundaries? Because I mean, if we're going to get into environmental stewardship of hazardous materials and hazardous waste that is being stored, I don't think that's design review. I mean, those are required state of California for every business. And the only reason I ask is that we're expanding a discussion point here that we don't extend to our other businesses that come into the city. And so, I mean, I appreciate the questions, but I think there's also a full set of California regulations, in fact, the most stringent in the country when it comes to managing hazardous materials and hazardous waste. And I mean, they're not going to be going out back of the shop and disposing of a drum of oil. I mean, they're going to meet all the current, they're going to meet all current state and federal requirements. They're going to. So, I'd kind of like some clarification of what our boundaries are and what is considered part of the design review and what isn't, so that we don't stray.
I thought the question was appropriate. As a planner, we have to prepare conditions of approval that have some nexus to the project and some potential negative impact. So for a restaurant, for a ABC license, for a car dealership, it's completely appropriate for the city to put a condition that says, prior to opening up a restaurant, verify you have your health permit prior to the dealership. So it's an appropriate condition, and it's a reasonable question to ask. Now if the commission starts to get into, the size of the drum to maintain the oil, obviously that's something completely out of the purview of staff and the commission, right? So there is some.
Then I want to make sure that
there are some borders to what the commission and I can discuss, but the condition is reasonable in terms of, hey, before we give you a building permit, make sure that you have your environmental health clearance.
I didn't say the condition wasn't.
Yeah.
I didn't say the condition wasn't approved, which I guess then opens up the conversation. But I think at the same time, it's a consistency across all of our applicants. We have another applicant that's coming today, and only because it's just coincidental. That are we going to turn around and ask them what their oil water separator requirements are that they have to have?
Well, actually, he's building a gas station, so we would want to make sure that
So I mean, that's what my point is that if we're going to do that, we just need to make sure we're consistent across everything across the board and not just single out because they're bigger than another or a different size. And the only reason I think a gas station is because I spent years doing sampling of oil water separators to ensure compliance. So
yeah, so to answer your question, if we're being a good community development department, we will not sign off on the gas station until the applicant shows us that the underground tank has been properly secured and
get into that because that's a different topic that's away from Mercedes. But I think mine is just in general with developments and developers that come in, especially if they're on the commercial side. And if they have hazardous materials or hazardous waste, then we want to make sure that those conditions are consistently applied across every permit application and every discussion that they're highlighted and brought up. That's all.
That's a fair point.
Okay, thank you. I think tonight it's important for the commissioners to be comfortable with the conditions of approval as far as the design review permit are the conditions of approval necessary and sufficient? Both of those criteria. And I think Guido is presented along with staff a very comprehensive set of conditions. And if we can think of an oversight, then now is the time to bring that up. Okay, let me see. I think we have one more question from Commissioner Simmons.
Just a quick question on trees number 712 and 752. I know we talked about the can't be saved because of the, I guess, the slope of the land and everything. But what I was wondering is, you know, we talked about the another project, that tree that was saved and moved from the dunes. Is it possible to save 712 and 752 and move them and reutilize them possibly on that same site or somewhere else?
Well, I'll defer to our arborist that sometimes that's a matter of expense as well. And there are project limitations on expense. This is a very expensive project to build, as you can imagine, with the architecture and everything else. I forget the exact number, but it was a great expense to move that big tree. It was the largest tree on the site to the roundabout, and because of its characteristics and its health, it was noted as a very eligible tree. But that was done by Shea Homes, and that's very expensive. I want to say 80,000, over 100,000 to move that big tree up there, and
more of a heritage type tree.
right. And so these are the smaller, and
we almost get our arm around these, but that other one was
large,
it was
very
the
large.
grandfather.
So the condition, if you will, or the standard that's in the specific plan particularly, is one of trying to save as many trees as you can, and of those that take another look at more specifically, if that's really feasible. And one of the feasibility measures is also, you know, economic. So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, I want to address just one other comment and then open it up for commissioners' voting. The last comment was, I think it was from Commissioner Barron to separate the recommendations into two motions instead of one. And let me ask.
That's completely appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. If it's not a difficult task and we can do it, you know, in step of progressing on the meeting.
That's completely appropriate.
Okay.
Make it two resolutions,
Yeah.
so it'd be 2026.
Yeah, I mean, I can just, yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay, so I will entertain the two motions at this time, or we can do them one by one.
I'd love to do this.
Okay.
If I can just interject.
I have no idea why, but
We have
Yeah, hi. I agree with Guido. I think that's fine. I was sensing maybe from Guido's pause. I just want to make sure that, you know, normally we would do like the obligatory like CEQA finding, you know, once if this were one resolution, but if we're splitting it into two resolutions and or two motions, we'd want to craft them. I don't know, Guido, if you're going to kind of do that on the fly right now so that we have the CEQA finding in both of them.
Yeah, this is an important enough project where I would want to have exactly what the commission is doing. So if it gets too complicated, if it's okay with the chair, we would take just like a 5-minute pause.
Why don't we take a break for a few minutes to separate this out?
And I am open to explain why I want to watch.
Yeah.
Well, there are people that are very serious about removing trees, especially trees in good conditions. And I don't want it to look like we were burying this topic in another big motion about the design, the review of the design. This way, we just provide a little bit more transparency. Nothing is buried, nothing is hidden. And if anybody has any concerns, we can respond to it. Thank you.
Okay, Guido,
So the chair, I can, if you want to take a 2 or 3 minute pause, or I can do this while you guys are talking. It's up to you.
Is it going to be the same EIR number?
Yes.
Then it's not that difficult.
I would still rather take a couple minute break to
Yeah.
allow him to not be under the
Yeah,
pressure
no.
of us sitting here
no,
with all
unless,
the eyes stared on him. I think I think it's appropriate if we're going to split this out to give him.
Guido, let's take a 5-minute break.
Great.
Just, do we need to take a motion on that?
It's fine. You can just,
Okay.
yeah.
They are.
Chair St. John, the attorney wants to look at it before you, so just a couple more minutes, so sorry.
Okay,
Sorry, I was just waiting until Guido was finished before I started trying to follow.
I'm done, Sep.
Okay. I think we want the incorporate by reference the recitals listed above, since so that would go after 1 on this one.
Wait, I'm sorry, let's say it again.
So you see how I agree with your first bullet to find any environmental impacts, blah blah blah, and then I think the second one, before you say approve a design permit, sorry, to approve the removal, it should be incorporate by reference the recitals listed above. You don't have to retype it; it's on your other slide. I think just copy and paste it.
Okay.
Approve a design, approve the removal, direct the applicant, require. Can you go back to the previous one? Sorry.
No problem.
Thank you.
You keep that up for another 2 minutes and I'll just start telling my jokes like I do at my project meetings. Really? You should. It's a parks joke.
let me call the meeting to order again. Commissioner Jacobson, you volunteered to make a motion.
What do you want me to do first, Guido?
Motion 1. Tree
Motion
removal
1.
permit.
Okay. That's kind of. Planning Commission to adopt resolution 2026, recommending that the city council approve the design and review permit for the new Mercedes-Benz car dealership at Opportunity Area 3.2 of the Dunes Development 2101 First Avenue, and find that this action is adequately addressed in EIR number 200-409-1167, certified for the University Villages specific plan. That the Planning Commission, based on findings, conditions of approval, and the sequel determination referenced hereto, does hereby recommend the city council. You want to read all 6 of those?
You can just say as identified on the slides.
As identified on the slide as conditions of approval. Do we vote on that one first, or
Do we have a second?
I second.
I'd like to make a friendly amendment that Mercedes be replaced with the actual name of the owner. It says Mercedes-Benz, it shouldn't be.
I'm sorry, what?
So the actual corporation is Unbound, not.
Well, the Unstoppable Group? No.
Stop.
So wouldn't it be Unstoppable Group and not Mercedes-Benz?
Who's
Minor.
responsible for?
On which language were you talking?
He's referring to my third part of
Condition-
section number. Can you
reserved
see
to
it?
condition.
Can you see it up there?
I can't
three.
see it.
Okay.
It says direct the applicant, parentheses, Mercedes-Benz.
Yes, it should say direct the applicant. Unstoppable.
Unstoppable. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's totally fine. And I can change that throughout the condition if that's acceptable to the planning commission.
That would be that's my friendly amendment. So somebody can agree or disagree or to second it.
In my proposal or my motion, and I accept that friendly amendment.
Okay.
I second again.
Again.
Okay. Commissioner Simmons,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobson,
Yes.
Commissioner Chang,
Yes.
Chair St. John,
Yes.
Commissioner Rana, Commissioner Barron, Vice Chair Woodson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Hey, second part.
Motion to design and review permit. Planning Commission to adopt resolution 2026, recommending that the city council approve a tree removal permit for
No.
the new Mercedes-Benz car dealership.
No.
Oh, no, excuse me.
No.
I take that back.
Take that back.
Take that off the record.
He's already said he'll make that correction, so it's okay.
Planning Commission to adopt resolution 2026, recommending that the city council approve a design and review permit for the new Mercedes-Benz car dealership at Opportunity Area 3.2 of the Dunes Development, 2101 First Avenue, and find this action was adequately addressed in EIR number 20040911167, certified for the University Villages specific. Find that any environmental impacts from the recommended action have been previously reviewed in the environmental impact report for the University Village, EIR number the same, 20040911167, and incorporated conditions of approval.
Okay, we have a second by Commissioner Rana.
Okay. Vice Chair Woodson,
Yes.
Commissioner Barron, Commissioner Rana,
Yes.
Chair St. John,
Yes.
Commissioner Chang,
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobson,
Yes.
Commissioner Simmons.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right.
Congratulations.
I have one quick question, Guido. When do you expect this to go before the city council?
I'd like to go May 19th, but obviously that's at the discretion of the city manager. He controls the agenda, but that's our goal. So
thank you very much. Appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guido, again.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the second, find it. Yeah, our second consent agenda item. It's not?
it's a public hearing.
Public hearings is.
Gas station.
So Chair St. John, Brad is our contract planner who's been helping with the dunes for over 4 years, and he'll be the project planner for this conditional use permit. He's online right now.
Okay. He has a presentation. Brad?
He does.
Good evening, Chair, Commissioners. My name is Brad Evanson. I'm with Regional Government Services, and we have been contracting with the city to help out with the dunes for almost 5 years at least. So with your permission, I'll go ahead and start my presentation. Let me share the screen. Okay, is everyone seeing this?
Yes.
Great. Okay, so this is a conditional use permit for a drive-through lane for a previously approved gas station, car wash, convenience store located at the northwest corner of Del Monte and Imjin Parkway. And I don't know if it's moving. It's not moving on my screen. I don't know why. Oh, that was weird. Don't know what happened there. Try this again.
Go to slideshow, Brad.
Yeah, no, that's what I'd done before. Okay, let's see if it works this time. Okay, good. The project site, again, it's at the northwest corner of Imgen and Del Monte Boulevard, where the red arrow is. It's a little over 1.3 acres, multiple use zoning within the the University Village's specific plan. It's known as Opportunity Parcel 1A. It's located within Phase 2 North. The remainder of the larger development area up there does include potential hotels, restaurants, and commercial entertainment uses as proposed. General plan is multiple use. The zoning is multiple use within the University's Village's specific plan. On December 14th, 2023, the Planning Commission did approve Site and Architectural Design Review 23-00009 for a 12-pump gas station, 4,950 square foot convenience store, and a car wash. Subsequent to that, lot line adjustment 24-00048 or 004 was approved to revise the property line between the site and the future hotel site at the western boundary of the project to better align with what the site improvements were ultimately going to be as the parking was being configured. This is what the site plan was generally approved as back in December of 23. The site has not changed drastically, but the addition of the drive-through does change some things. The building has been shifted a little bit southerly, and some of the parking spaces have been taken up. The developer has determined that a drive-through quick serve food operation would in fact complement the overall development, as is common with multi-use gas station facilities like this. The drive-through lane would start at the north elevation of the building, directly off of the driveway that comes into the site from breakwater. It would proceed down the west elevation where to the drive-through window, allowing for a stacking space of approximately 10 vehicles. Vehicles would exit at the southwest corner of the building, and they would either proceed straight to the driveway exit onto Imgen, or they would turn back towards the gas station car wash parking area. The convenience store interior has been reconfigured to create a restaurant space within an area previously designated as office storage. The developer on this site has kind of made this a running evolution of the project of how they wanted to configure it. So this has been a change that has kind of gone through multiple iterations, I guess. The exterior modifications to the building would be minor and include minor reconfiguration of the east elevation doors to the restaurant space and the addition of a drive-through window on the west elevation. The drive-through lane would result in the loss of 6 parking stalls, but it does still provide more than the required amount of parking. I think it's still overparked by 5 or 6 stalls. I forget the exact number, but we're in no danger of being underparked on the site. This is the proposed site plan. This is the overall site plan, so you can see the entirety of the development. You can see the drive-through lane as it bulbs around at the northwest corner of the building where the order board would be. And then as it runs down and stacks towards the drive-through window near the southwest corner of the building. And then you can see as the drive-through lane exits into the main circulation of the site, where the vehicles can either exit out onto Imgen or they can return back into the parking area or the gas or the car wash. Here's the detail of how it would look as it wraps around the building. And these are the elevations. The doors on this side, on the left side of the screen, those are the doors to the restaurant area. It's very similar to what was there before when it was originally storage and office space. They had, I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was a single door and less storefront window glazing around it. And they've obviously made that minor change to do that. And then on the lower image, you can see where the drive-through window is at the near the south end of the building. to maximize the storage space for vehicles. Questions and comments that we received. MST did express concerns that riders at the bus stop on Engine have a clear path to the convenience store. There have been other concerns expressed regarding overall circulation on the site. It is a relatively tight and busy site, that is without question. Concerns have also been expressed regarding potential noise during nighttime operations, and questions were expressed about the capacity of the drive-through lane and its impacts to circulation. In general, what we are expecting to do with this, and the developer, when they make their presentation, they can be asked these questions and go into more detail. We are going to be adding a condition of approval that would include a requirement that the developer, prior to issuance of a certificate of occupancy and commencement of operations, that they submit a comprehensive on-site striping and signage plan to better delineate paths of circulation, directional arrows for vehicles, identify pedestrian pathways from the various points, various elements of the site, like from the gas pumps back to the convenience store for that kind of pedestrian space, coming up from the bus stop. However, that is whatever the appropriate pathway is for that, making sure that the pedestrians are deconflicted with the traffic, that sort of thing. The nighttime operations, I will let the developer go into more detail on that. They have not identified a tenant for the space yet. They are in negotiations with some preliminarily, so that could be to be determined, but that can certainly be managed with restrictions on hours of operation, limiting the volume that comes out of the speaker on the menu board, that sort of thing. The drive-through lane, again, that is identified as having stacking capacity for 10 vehicles. And obviously, the large-scale operations that everyone knows about, the Chick-fil-A's, the Dutch Brothers, the In-N-Out Burgers, those typically do not operate within a gas station, so it's unlikely that we're going to get a large-scale tenant operator. So in all likelihood, the 10 vehicle stacking space should be sufficient for most potential operators within that particular built environment. For conditions of approval, the Planning Commission approval of site and architectural design review included several conditions of approval pertaining to signage, landscaping, and circulation. Those are proposed to be incorporated into this application as well. Specifically, at one point, the applicant has proposed several signs with this particular application, but they will be considered as part of a future master sign program, which was an original condition on the site and architectural design review. Condition of approval 6 would require that the developer install bollards between the drive-through and the west parking area. There is a space that's identified at the bulb of the drive-through, and I can go back a couple of screens. Up here in the upper left corner where the drive-through lane becomes extremely close to the other pass-through lane, that was identified as having a rolled curb, and that was to provide utility truck access to the equipment for the EV charging stations, which are the parking stalls back down here. And so we're requiring that they put bollards in that can be removed so that the utility vehicles can remove them to gain access. But otherwise, it would prevent random traffic trying to avoid slowdowns or traffic jams at the intersection there to jump through and sneak their way out of that way. Condition of approval number 7 would be the condition that requires the applicant to submit the on-site striping and signage circulation plan that I mentioned previously. A CEQA determination. On May 31st, 2005, the city certified EIR number 2004-091167 for the University Villages specific plan, including making all required findings and determinations and adopting a mitigation monitoring and reporting program. Drive-through lanes are not referenced in the UVSP, the specific plan. As such, the specific plan defers to the city's zoning ordinance, which finds that drive-through lanes are conditionally permitted within all commercial districts of the city. The planning department has thus determined that, as conditioned, the project will not result in new significant environmental impacts or effects or result in a substantial increase in the severity of significant impacts previously identified in the EIR for the specific plan. And with that, the staff recommendation is that the Planning Commission open a public hearing, adopt a resolution 2026 future number, approving a conditional use permit for the drive-through operation at a previously approved gas station, convenience store, and car wash at the northwest corner of 2nd Avenue and Del Monte Boulevard or 2nd Avenue, Del Monte Boulevard and Imogen Parkway on the property located at 3001 2nd Avenue, which is Opportunity Area 1A of the Dunes development, subject to the conditions of approval contained in Exhibit B of the staff report as amended, as we've discussed, and then find that the proposed uses and improvements will not result in new significant environmental impacts or effects or a substantial increase in the severity of significant impacts previously identified in the University Village Specific Plan EIR number 2004-091167. And I am available if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the staff report. So what about our commissioners? Any comments? Let's see, we do have, let's see, Commissioner Jacobson, you were first.
Thank you, Chair. I understand that it's been determined that this will not impact or change the EIR. But I'm wondering, when we had a gas station and we had a car wash and we had a walk-in store, but now we have a drive-through restaurant that may attract people that may not even be interested in the other 2 or 3 services on that site. Isn't that going to increase the number of cars that are, coming in and then entering and then egress?
Through the chair, it likely will have some level of increase. I would defer to the applicant's traffic engineer, who I believe is online and available for comment.
He's actually here in the audience, Brad.
Oh, so, even better.
Yeah.
Well, they can do a better job of explaining the level of increase. The fact that this is a relatively small space, it is expected from the developer's perspective that while it's a welcome increase in the business, it would not be a substantial increase that would result in an increase in the severity of significant impacts, as we've discussed.
Okay.
Commissioners, my name is Harvey Dadwal. I'm the developer. Regarding your concern regarding the traffic increase due to extra use, actually, before it was, the whole thing was convenience store. So now the convenience store is the only less than little 3,000, and this side is little less than 2,000. Then is a bathroom, all those things. But anyway, so basically the total square footage of this convenience store is the same. So your concern is regarding if we have a bigger store, definitely we can offer a lot more items. So now we will offer less items in the convenience store, and then we have a food in this side. So that will offset that concerns. And the second thing is like gas. If you pretty much all the commissioners know, gas is shrinking every day. So I have another Chevron gas stations. My revenue from the gas is about 30% less than used to be. So that's a big concern for me. I'll be honest with you guys, I never planned to do a gas station here. I was looking to something like a fast food, or I'm in a restaurant, sit down restaurant or something different. But due to the my agreement, I have to do this thing. So I was required or like basically forced to do this thing. So I'm doing this thing. So now I'm looking how I can offset my income, what I'm going to lose. And I know that it's not a good proposition in the long run. and it's a lot of big investment. What I am doing is a risk, but that's now I'm looking something in incremental income that can offset what I will lose on the other hand. Yeah. So this is the main thing. And I mean, if another concern, please let me know.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just for all the commissioners, when the entire site was reviewed and approved a year and a half ago or so, there was a condition of approval that required a traffic study be done and that a report come back to us in 1 year after the opening to determine if that entrance on Imjin and the exit on Imjin creates any kind of a traffic issue. So I don't know if that helps anybody. Thank you, Harvey.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Jacobson. Commissioner Simmons.
Commissioner Jacobs actually asked the question that I was going to ask too, but I do want to comment that that was one of the concerns that I had was the traffic increase, potential traffic increase coming out of the gas station onto Imjin Parkway. I think we all know that that's a pretty much a choke point now, especially for any traffic that wants to go southbound onto Highway 1. That traffic is, if they want to go take that direction, there's a concern, but it sounds like in the previous approval that that's going to be relooked at. And sounds like also that with a reduction of sales and gas that perhaps the traffic isn't going to be as much. I think I did note also though in there that there was a change. I believe I saw the previous drawing showed that the entrance and exits on Breakwater. There's two entrances and exits, I believe, on Breakwater that were previously accessible before the drive-through to traffic. That has now looks like in the new drawing that any traffic coming out of the drive-through, they can still access them, but it appears that they're going to have to circumvent the entire mini mart, I guess, station there. Is that correct in what I saw?
Through the chair, let me go back to the site plan. Okay, here's the larger scale. The traffic would come into the drive-through, and when it comes out, it has the traffic has the option of either going out to the access to Imjin directly, or yes, looping around the south end of the building and then back out onto Breakwater. There are two access points, but the westerly access point, the one behind the convenience store building, just serves the EV charging parking stalls. So it's really kind of a limited access point. Originally, the original proposal that came before the Planning Commission in 23, or that was proposed to go before the Planning Commission in 23, had that westerly drive lane going all the way through to the desired access point to Imjin. And we looked at that as too much of a potential for traffic coming out of the future hotels to just bypass the signals at Second and Imjin and just flow massively on straight onto Imjin through the back of the gas station site. And so the site was reconfigured to close off that access point. So really there is functionally one primary access point from the site onto Breakwater that serves the car washes, the gas station, and the convenience store. So, and that's the one up in the center of the site here that goes on to Breakwater. So I don't know if that answers your question properly, but that's how the site goes. And the condition that was imposed to require a traffic study or traffic impact assessment covers the whole site. So we wouldn't just look at what's happening to Imjin. We would look at the functionality of the whole site, including the drive-through lane.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair Woodson.
So I'll ask a few questions and I'll turn it back over and I come back with other questions. So the first thing is this, most of these are staff combination. The first one is I'd like to know the whole history of the changes since over the last 2 years. And that because the initial plan that came before us and was approved has had multiple iterations. And so what I would like to know is I'd like to know the iterative process of how we got to today. First part of it. The second part of that is once I kind of understand that, I would like to understand the issue the issue of, I'm going to call it silence in the site specific plan. There is silence in our site specific plan on drive-throughs. And as a result of that, we are taking that as a default. Let's approve this. I'm not sure if that's the correct interpretation. And that leads me to the second part of it is if I make that assumption, then where is the decision of what allows for a conditional use and what requires us to go all the way back to the beginning on design review? So that would be my first two parts. The second one is looking at the map, we talk about the site-specific map, that effectively there is one entry point. Except that I'm literally looking at this and seeing, oh, look, there's a whole set of parking spaces for a second entry point on the back side. And I see the drive-in window is going to go on the backhand side. I know that the inside has been reconfigured. And what is to stop another reconfiguring to put a primary backdoor entrance for those 2 handicap spaces and 6 other spaces that are sitting in the back down the road so that we keep incrementally getting continued use changes that come up. The second part of that is going to be that the applicant itself just described it, that I'm trying to make a profit. I'm trying to do that. And I understand that. And I understand it's hard in today's economy to do that, to try to do that. At the same time, another conditional use one is gas stations have EV stations. Are we going to get a continual use that comes back and says, I want to have more charging stations in here? I mean, how many times do we get incrementally added that we kind of bypass the aggregate that creates a condition that comes back? And that's my concern, is that going back to the first part, I'd like to understand the history of how many changes were negotiated with the planning staff before we got to the point of adding this to our agenda today. So I'll leave it kind of those 2 questions in 4 parts to start with.
So what the 2023 is what's been carried forward in the building
I don't believe that's true. I think the inside has been reconfigured a couple times, has it not?
But those are interior modifications that are not the purview of the planning commission. So those are just a building permit. So, and then to answer your question about, so the specific plan has very specific language that says, you have to follow the specific plan, but if something, is basically silent, then you have to punt to the zoning code. And that's why you're here today, because the zoning code allows a conditional use permit for this use with a drive-through. So that's. So in terms of continued uses, that, if there are more substantial changes, we will make the applicant come back before the planning commission. So.
And through the chair, there have been minor changes that have happened in the plan check process, as Guido mentioned. Primarily, they've been to the interior. There was one change to the exterior of the building where the need for, however, the structural requirements of the roof trusses necessitated the elimination of some previously approved or initially approved clerestory windows along the upper edge of the east elevation, the front of the building. Minor changes like that don't necessarily rise to the level of bringing the project back to the planning commission due to the relatively minor nature of them. There have been some minor changes just throughout the site as the part of the plan check process, but they've primarily been interior related or minor construction related. They went through some configuration issues be due to the slope, putting together retaining walls along breakwater. But that didn't really affect the site to any drastic level. Again, not really rising to the level of staff determining whether the project needed to be brought back to the planning commission for further consideration, because it didn't alter the functionality of anything. It didn't drastically alter the appearance of anything. So I apologize for not having a detailed running list of the changes during the plan check, but I honestly wasn't expecting the drive-through to come in the midst of the process either. So
That's okay. I think, but didn't we start with saying, didn't the whole foundation of the building move to the east to ensure that we could situate this drive-through?
I'd have to go back and look at that. I with the lot line adjustment that went through initially, the original proposal, I don't know that it had it moved, but it had it situated because there's common ownership of the hotel parcels and this parcel. The developer initially didn't really take the lot lines into consideration as thoroughly as we would have preferred. So we had the lot line adjustment done as an after the fact thing to clean up that whiff. So I don't recall that the building moved overtly, but it's still the same size building, and we still have the same drive-through or drive aisle widths that we had originally. And so I don't think there have been drastic changes on that. The interior of the building has gone through a couple of conceptual changes as the developer has explored what their options were for filling out the use of the building. But again, nothing that's risen to the level of bringing the project back until now.
He had a comment he wanted to make in response. I'm fine with that. It's up to you, Chair. I think he had a response.
My name is Ben Wilson with civil engineer with Monterey Bay Engineers. The building moved 5 feet. I want to say 5 feet east and 5 feet, no, 5 feet south and 5 feet west. And then there was but the lot line adjustment, that was a separate issue. I wasn't involved with the lot line adjustment, but there was a small change in the building location by 5 and 5.
Okay.
Other than that, the site plan, I wasn't the original project civil. I've come in later to fine tune and detail what's going on. And other than that, I have not moved.
That's fine. I think my question was more on the lines of, okay, do we move the building to help facilitate this? And so it sounds like the answer is no. It's hard to tell reading all the material. So that's why I just wanted to understand.
Right.
So if the answer is, if it moved, especially if it moved west.
That happened
so that's
immediately
fine.
Before my involvement, but
okay.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
See, before you leave, before you sit down, can you review for us the charging, the egress and access to the EV charging?
So it wasn't the reason why I did a rollover curb there, and I would agree. I think removable bollards would be appropriate. There's a small, it appears to be square. It's actually rectangular by this much. That's a transformer. That's what needs access within so many feet from these trucks for whatever purpose they do. So in talking with the electrical contractors, that was one of their requirements, is that a truck would have to roll in directly to the transformer, which is what the drive-through is bulbing around. And that would be the reason why.
Okay.
But I would agree, removable bollards there would be appropriate.
And how does the access to the EV charging from Breakwater Street, that is a separate access? It sort of dead ends.
It does dead end.
And so if you're going to use the EV chargers, that's what you use, and then you drive off when you finish.
Then you go back out the way you came in.
Right. Okay. What is to the to the west, there's a lot of dotted lines, like, like it could be access to that adjacent,
So what you're seeing is
land lot.
from my perspective, because I haven't been involved, you'd have to ask Mr. Dodwall, all the planning. I haven't been involved in all the planning. You're seeing ghost lines of
Yeah.
possibilities.
Okay.
Nothing has gelled.
But those ghost lines, it's possibilities that I guess the next door would be the hotel would have a possible access to EV charging.
Correct.
Is that right?
Theoretically, yes, there could be access depending on how the final site configuration for the future hotel might be done. That's all parking directly to the west of the convenience store site. And then that continues on for some distance before you would get close to the hotel building. And I would assume that there would also be chargers within the hotel property itself, but theoretically they may be able to have access from the parking lot aisles. As you can see with the kind of ghost lines as described in red, that was one of the original proposals, and they've obviously made changes and overlaid this onto that. So whether those would remain with a future development that remains to be seen until the hotel property has a development proposal formally submitted. But at this point, yes, at this point, it's simply a dead end single access to the EV chargers. And to answer an earlier question about whether the building would be reconfigured to provide a rear access, that would not likely happen. The way the proposed floor plan is set, that's the kitchen side, the actual cooking prep side, along the western wall there where the drive-through window would be. And there already is a single entrance off of a outdoor patio at the very south end of the building. And that was actually part of the original approval for the site and architectural design review. So what would happen is people that park in the EV chargers would walk through the crosswalk across the drive-through lane at the southern end of the building, and then they could theoretically go in that way. So that's how that would go.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Commissioner Chen.
Thank you, Chair. My question is to Brad. Do you have a diagram showing the traffic flow? Imagine, okay, this is a location, you have a car wash, a pump station, a drive-through store, and the EV chargers. All right, imagine during the peak hours, all the cars are coming in. Do you have a schematic drawing to show the traffic flow, like coming in from Injun to 2nd Avenue and coming in? How the cars that going to the drive-through store and the car that going to the pump station, the car going to the car wash stations, how to avoid the conflict on that? And imagine if all the cars are coming at the same time, and then you have cars that going out to the Injun Parkway and cars are coming in from Injun Parkway. My second question is, the Injun Parkway will be very packed. All right, the traffic basically, I realized the car they're driving on Injun Parkway, they are speeding. They are not slow drivers. And you have a traffic light there, and then you have a bus stop over there. So I can imagine it would be very crowded area. So I'd like to see a diagram with the traffic flow there. We could see how the cars are coming in and going out without any conflicts.
Remember this, we've got a condition of approval on that.
You have a
So
condition.
we'll know that'll be studied, and so will the whole thing. And the report will come back to us within a year.
After a
At
year.
1 year.
Okay,
It's
that
not-
was,
It's not a condition of approval to proceed.
No, it's a condition of approval.
That-
After 1
how many
year.
wrecks there were.
Yes, how many wrecks there were, or how many, whatever there is, yeah. But that's the idea. to
well,
make-
it's good to know because that was before on the commissions.
Right.
But again, okay, let's say you have then how about the traffic that coming in? I just trying to imagine, it will be very congested. I mean, if they're coming in, the flow I'd like to see a schematic drawing on that and so that we know how to avoid conflicts here.
Let me,
Before the internal,
if I can come in here a
Yeah.
minute. All of this is approved. This is all done. The only thing we're looking at is this. That's it.
I understand. I understand it's been approved, but again, I mean, just to make sure that the drive-through here, you have increase on the traffic flow here, all right?
Yeah.
So I just want to see whether has it been taking into consideration the traffic will not, like moving from one direction to another direction, and will not create the, confusion there, and that's all I'm thinking.
Well, through the chair, if I may, I mean, there's obviously, this is a very busy drawing. There's a lot of data on it, but there are arrows, directional arrows showing the traffic flow in all directions, coming in and out of Imgen, crossing along the southern edge of the property, heading towards the car wash queuing area, going in front of in between the gas pumps and the convenience store building. I mean, there is a very basic layout of what the traffic flow is supposed to be in terms of volume. We have no way of knowing how popular this location will ultimately be, how busy it will be. The addition of the access to and from Imgen, originally staff was not in favor of it. The applicant did request it because obviously having just the access on breakwater, that's just one choke point into the whole site, obviously made that difficult, and hence having the access onto Imgen with the condition of approval requiring that a comprehensive traffic analysis be done within a year of operations commencing to see, should we keep that access point open? Should we close it? Is it causing a problem? I mean, we're going to assess the entire site now with the addition of the drive-through. That's going to fold into that whole process anyway, so we'll be able to better assess all of that. And again, we've added the condition of approval requesting that the applicant prepare a comprehensive signage and striping plan for the site that would hopefully help delineate paths of travel for pedestrians and vehicles to better show where is the delineation for turning left into one area or turning right into one area, just to better control the flow of traffic. So that's part of the conditions that we proposed for tonight. So hopefully we'll be able to manage that process and keep it from becoming a problem.
Well, thank you, Brad, for the clarification. I think that's the main thing I'm trying to drive at. I think we need to monitor it very carefully because I don't want all the traffic that going in and spill into internal circulations, and it will be very kind of confusing there. So I think it's good that we monitor it and annually and just make sure that everything is run smoothly. I'm not against the project. I think it's a good project, but I think we just have to monitor, make sure the traffic will not create any concerns here. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Rana. No? Leftover? Okay. Commissioner Vice Chair Woodson? Not yet. Okay, I have one. Okay. All right. I just have one concern, and I think that the exit onto Imgen will become a very difficult and thing. On Imgen, in this section of Imgen, it's 2 lanes, and 1 lane must turn right and go north on Highway 1, and the other lane must turn go over the bridge and turn left to go south on Highway 1. And the going south on Highway 1 very often is chock-a-block full. Okay, at many times of the day during peak traffic hours and also almost any time. Because I've used that lane. And there's a lot of challenges at Second Avenue traffic light with people in the right-hand lane that really don't intend to be in the right-hand lane. And they're going right past this site with people exiting that want to get over in the left-hand lane. So, you're going to have a very congested exit and cars that are not going to be patient, because a lot of people on Emshin are not patient. So I think that the exit, you have to be prepared that after a year, you might be requested to close that exit.
Yeah, I appreciate your concerns. I drive that every morning. And the right lane is actually, that's a passing lane for all the people that are going to go south on.
But a lot of people going south don't recognize that it was the passing lane.
And as somebody who's at the site daily and then comes down Second Avenue and makes my right-hand turn onto Emgym to go onto the highway, there's another issue with Emgym and Second. When the light turns green, wait, because 2 more cars are coming through off that left turn. So enforcement in general could be stepped up. People could be better. I would agree on the concerns.
It's the same people that don't know what a stop sign is.
Depends. If it's got a white border, it's a recommendation. That's what I heard.
I see.
Sorry.
That's all.
All right. And let's open it up to public comment from here in attendance.
How you doing? Oh, heck, I'm here. Might as well speak on this too. I actually was here when the Emgyn Parkway entrance ingress egress was discussed, and I had similar concerns of people constantly stopping there to turn in and people pulling out. And I do distinctly remember your concerns as well, and the condition to come back and reevaluate what kind of problems they had there. And what happens if you do allow a drive-through and you have to tell them, I'm sorry, there's been too many accidents there. We have to close that. So now you have all these cars trying to get out there and you've lost one egress, ingress, egress. It just seems like a lot to pack into that space. You already have people who want to get gas. They're going to want to go to car wash. And now you can have people that are specifically going to go in there just for a drive-through. So now you've added more cars coming in and out. I'm sorry.
You can't access the drive-through from Emshin other than the exit. No, you can't.
Honestly, can we let the speaker finish?
Thanks. Yeah, thank you. I lost my train of thought. So point being, I appreciate, first of all, thank you, Mr. Dodbaum, and I apologize for being, kind of opposing of this idea. I appreciate what you brought to Marina and the hotels and the future in the gas station, the car wash. And I appreciate your concerns about the loss in gas sales. I do encourage, for him to consider with a restaurant in there that people can get food while they're already pulled in there. But adding another drive-through, I'm not sure is the best idea. There's no decision made yet about what kind of restaurant will go in there. And I know it's unlikely we get some sort of crazy In-N-Out or Chick-fil-A or something that exceeds that 10-car limit, but there's no guarantee of that. Anything can happen. But once you approve this and some restaurant comes in that we don't know about, now what do we do if it's really popular and there were 20 cars, 25 cars? How do we address that issue, that backlog? There's going to be a hotel there as well.
maybe two. I understand there's, up to two or maybe three hotels. So now there's more traffic going in. I would hope that these hotels are going to be kind of nice ocean view. We want to add drive-throughs in there too. I really don't think it's necessary, but I do hope at least he opens up a restaurant in there and serves some food. That'd be nice. That's my input. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other public comments from the attendees? Okay.
And no one's online, Chair.
No
Thank
one's
John.
online?
I wanted.
Okay. Vice Chair Woodson, you wanted to.
Okay, thanks. Some number of different things on a wide variety of topics, and hopefully this will be it for me. Like first off, business is driven at gas station, convenience stores, with car washes by the price of gas. If the price of gas is low enough, it's going to drive customers to the business, and then everything else becomes secondary to that. I mean, the developer is going to make X amount, the owner is going to make X amount of cents that's driven by the distribution system, because that's how gas prices work. So we could have lots of cars, we could have not. A lot of is ultimately not necessarily driven by the developer. I mean, it's going to be driven by what the distributor of the fuel is providing on what he's going to be able to charge. And we have seen that in this city. If all you have to do is go one exit up and get off, and we have a gas station that was literally owned, he fought the gas company, and the gas company literally drove him out of business. I mean, they forced him to close and sell because he tried to hold his cost. So the price of gas is going to be a driver of traffic. I think everything else becomes secondary, and how do we make money off of that? That said, we also have some examples of where restaurants and combined food prep, on-site food prep with a gas station works or doesn't work. All you have to do is go 3/4 of a mile east, Ord Market. That literally for years was a shopette, and it had food prep areas in there. They tried to run it for years in a food market one, and eventually they've just stopped. So I think there is some precedent setting on what the level of throughput is. I mean, is this going to do this? And then I think when we add that to the added one, that people generally don't want to hit other people when they're driving. We take that road. Now, the exception being on the highway itself, but once you get into a parking lot, generally people don't want to hit each other. So they will self-regulate the parking. And a great example of that is the new pilot station in Salinas. Extremely well populated with cars because it's one of the lowest priced gas stations in Salinas. And cars will line up there all day long, and they'll fill up all the ones, and then all the cars will disappear. And everybody figures out how to make it work and move through gas stations. So I don't necessarily have a problem with the internal traffic flow. What I do have an issue with, one of the issues that I have with this, is equity across the city of Marina. One of the big things we have done, downtown core. We have specifically said in a downtown vitalization plan, no more drive-in windows. We said, that's it. We have 14 or 11, 12, and we don't want any more. We're not going to approve it. It was grandfathered in, and if something changes, they may not even get to keep it. Marina Landing, and that we just reviewed 2 months ago. We basically said, we don't want out parcels that have drive-in windows there. And so what are we saying to all the residents on this side of town, and this side being not the four-door development, when we go back to the same thing that we have allowed to do for the Dunes and Sea Haven and everybody on the new side of town, the old four-door side, they get whatever they want. They get all the development, they get all the commercial growth, they get all the new housing, they get all this stuff. What do we get over here on this side of town? Oh, now you can't have drive-in windows over here, but oh, you want to put a drive-in window over on your side of town? You can have that. That's not being equitable to the residents of Marina. And that's nothing against the process of the business itself, but there has to be why is it good for that? Why is it good there? Yet we're telling everybody else that wants to have development property in the city, you can't have it. I mean, I mean, it's almost kind of hypocritical of us to kind of say, oh, yes, we should just approve this when we were telling everybody else, no, you can't have it anymore. So that's my kind of first one.
Can I follow up with you?
Sure.
I'm not, I guess I wish I had the map. Is this within the
No.
zone of the downtown plan?
No, it isn't.
No.
No, I mean, the downtown zone goes like 2 blocks
Right,
up this
that's
way.
what I thought.
And that's it. My point is more, we're telling every other developer that wants to build in most of the commercial areas of the city, you can't have a drive-in window. Yet we're turning around to the new area where the newest development has gone in for years. And we're saying, oh, well, you can have one. And it just feels like it's a double standard that we're creating. That's not fair to the developers on this side of town. So next question I had in statement was, so in the earlier discussion today, we talked about noise. And so we have residential noise and we care about residential noise. And we literally wrote a condition into the previous topic tonight that said you have to have silent pagers for you to talk with your staff on site. Yet we're going to turn around where we're going to put a hotel right behind it. I mean, I guess it's not residential. It's not the Dunes with their $1.5 to $2 million homes that we care about, but it is hotel guests. And so we're going to put a speaker. And again, it's not that it may be really loud, but again, if we have a condition, if we decide to approve this, I believe there should be a condition on making sure that the noise level cannot be heard over outside the property boundary, for example. Because we don't want to have a situation where we have hotel guests coming in and it's like, okay, again, we're creating a double standard. It's not good for Mercedes and they have to deal with it, but it's okay here. And because they're long-term residential residents in the Dunes Phase 3 versus hotel guests. Is that really different? I mean, the hotel guests bring in TOT every night they stay here. So they should have a good experience. So I think that's another area that I'm questioning on this. I mean, I guess in the end, I have a lot of concerns about bringing this forward and that this is creating scope creep that's going to keep coming back on us in other places. And that I appreciate the concept of what the developer is trying to do here and the owner's trying to do, which is create more business opportunities and profit margins so he can stay in business. At the same time, it just feels like we're conceding a lot of things that we have made decisions on over the last 2.5 years across the city and other places. And we've said, no, we're not going to do this anymore. And now we're turning around and we may be saying, well, we're not doing it for you all, but we'll do it here. That's my comments.
Thank you, Vice Chair Woodson. I've got a question follow up to Mr. Woodson's comments. Does the Dunes specific plan allow drive-through windows? Is it part of the specific plan?
So the Dune specific is silent on drive-throughs.
Okay.
And so the specific plan says if there's some silence on it, go back to the zoning code. So the zoning code allows it with a conditional use permit, which is why you're here tonight.
Right.
So
that was my question right at the beginning.
So it's we're not bound by, our decision isn't bound by law. It's discretionary.
well, you have to follow,
what we've done in the past.
Yeah, I mean, our local ordinances and, it has to be reasonable and.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he's saying it's a conditional use permit, so it's not a by right.
Yeah, it's not by right.
Not a by right.
Yeah.
Had it been identified in the specific plan for the Dunes that it is by right.
But then we wouldn't be here tonight.
Right. Okay.
So I would have just approved it or potentially approved it. So.
Okay. All right.
Is this a conditional use permit?
It is.
Yes.
Where does it say that in the resolution?
Item B, gas station drive-through conditional use permit.
It's on the
In the
first page of
public
the staff
hearing,
report. So the first page of the staff report.
I was just reading the resolution. Didn't see. I thought it was actually supposed to say that we're approving the conditional.
I mean, let me look.
Okay. Commissioner, yeah. Marina. Commissioner Raina, conditional Raina.
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly add that to the rest.
Okay, my comment is about the equitability versus necessity. Taking Marina as a homogeneous unit may be kind of unfair because the pattern of traffic coming into Marina from Del Monte and from Imjin, they're two different things. And the area in question, the density of traffic and the population, and also the drive-throughs, it is totally invariance, and you can treat, in fact, as two cities because on Imjin, the traffic is coming from Salinas and going to the south, and in Marina, they're coming to this thing. So necessity dictates that there is shortage of such facilities in that area. So there is a business proposal. Yes, it will benefit the developer. And then we have the necessity also that it will benefit because a new hotel is going to come up there. And then there is a shortage of such facilities in that part of the city. So I think we have to consider from that perspective, rather than just saying that in Marina, we have growing number of the drive-through windows.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, Commissioner Woodson is absolutely right. We have, is it citywide or is it just the commission and the city council that have taken a position of a no more, is it codified?
It's an indirect position. It's formal in the downtown vitalization plan. It is a recommendation in the general plan that isn't published, that's in draft. I think it's a best management practice, I believe, but that's not finalized, so it doesn't count. And it has been a discussion point that we have had on the commission with developers in other properties across the city.
Okay.
So, but there's no
not codified.
There's no formal policy that says, no, we can't have them.
Mhm.
So I have my stake on what we're doing at this point. It is, yes. That's the only place it
Okay.
formally is.
And I think on the same analogy, denying some facility coming up in a new area just because we've already taken some decision Marina wise. So we have new developments coming up, say Marina Station and the other areas also. So on this analogy, those areas, we might say that we've already reached the saturation to develop certain facilities in those areas. That will be denying to the residents and to the commuters of that area by saying that we have taken a decision, no more drive-throughs. So that'll be unfair.
Well, just a counter argument to that from me is that the safety, the extra unsafe condition, the engine entry exit was added a year and a half ago or so, or it was at least discussed, and this drive-through adds extra risk and unsafe conditions for the entrance and exit on engine. So even though when the drive-through window wasn't part of the original permitting. That's why it's here tonight. It's to add a drive-through window for a fast food type operation concurrent with the convenience store. And I can see very much how that is a missing link in this area of Marina from the Imgen Speedway. There is no drive-throughs, and there's only one, I guess it's a Shell station between the halfway from Reservation Road to Highway 1 on Imgen. That's the only watering hole there.
You have Starbucks also off of Second Avenue, though it doesn't exit out onto Emgen.
That also has a drive-through. That has a drive. Yeah.
So there is a second drive-through there.
Okay. Anyway,
I think earlier the Bradley mentioned that they will monitor it every year, right? I think it's so
that was
as long as they have a
condition of approval.
correct.
Or the entry exit, not, and we didn't have, at that meeting, we
Right.
didn't have any notion at all of a additional
Drive-through.
set of traffic for a drive-through window.
Yeah, this evening we are discussing this site though. We are not.
No,
Yeah.
we're
I know,
discussing
yeah.
the drive-through.
I know, yeah, right, true. That's
Specifically.
why I'm saying if there's a clear separation of traffic flow, I think that is doable. And if, whether want to close the exit and the entry from in-gym, that is after the 1 year, we could look at it and.
There is a known traffic pattern on Imgen coming from Reservation to Highway 1 to go south.
Correct.
They are not coming down Imgen from Reservation to turn right to go north.
Yeah, if I got a hunch that if that actually becomes a nuisance,
Yeah.
as you expect, that it'll be addressed long before our 1-year review.
Yeah. But I mean,
Would that be true with law enforcement or somebody, if there was?
Yeah, and actually the commission was very smart. The way the condition of approval was written in 2023, it specifically directed us to work with the police department if there were any kind of traffic issues on the site. So,
So it could be shut down if necessary.
So
have the police department had a opportunity to review this particular incremental?
No, this is not something we would
They
normally.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So Chair St. John, if I may, it sounds like we're a little bit at a standstill in terms of the commission where it could go. A suggestion could be that we could direct the applicant to do a very, very minor kind of traffic simulation and bring that back in a month or so, or try to get, because I'm hearing pretty loud and clear that the commission's very concerned about just circulation and traffic patterns right now. So
One of the realities of this 2,000 square foot with a small 4-table interior for diners is this can't attract a Chick-fil-A or something like that. Those restaurants have requirements of literally like 1.5 acres just for their queue of cars. So this will be something in the order of a Subway or a Jamba Juice. It's not a high volume, high rate of cars going through. Easy to envision the 30% offset and reduced due to electric vehicles, reduced gas sales, maybe just being offset by that alone. It's just hard to imagine the viability of a high volume restaurant occupying space.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Have you been to Starbucks lately?
No.
Yeah, well, their queue backs up through the parking lot all the way to the other area.
The inception of a business seating.
Yeah, well, what I'm just saying is that we don't have any idea what's going in there, and we don't have any idea what the queue is going to be. We know we've planned for 10 cars to be in queue. So is 10 cars, if there's always 10 cars there, that's considerable extra traffic coming in, going out the egress. Unless they're going to buy food and then go to the gas station. That usually isn't the case. You used to go to the gas station and then get food.
Well, I understand that your concerns. I'm a daily business more like 35 years.
Turn on the microphone.
I own about 30 Subway store. I have a drive-through stores, and I know this fast food business very well because I ran myself. And my friends, they own probably lot of stores. The Taco Bells, Jamba Juice, Burger Kings. The traffic is not there. What you thinking, what you visualizing, it will be what I'm thinking is a kind of a survival. There is already 1 year condition. If there is any issue, then police can shut down or then they will come back to the commission. But we are thinking something is not even, don't know what will happen. We are talking about something, we have no experience, no idea. It's a Chevron gas station, it's not a Arco gas station. Gas will be expensive. It's like a high-end site. I'm building a very nice hotel in the back. I'm very careful just building the way I'm doing. People don't spend that kind of money on this kind of gas station. They just built a box with a stucco one. There's no stucco at all. There's all wood and metal claddings and stone. If you see that. Because I care about this area, because I'm the hotel developer in this area. I already built 200 rooms and building another 300 rooms. And I'm very careful what needed, what's not needed. From my experience, I don't see it will generate a lot of traffic. Because Chevron gas stations probably everybody knows, it's not everybody go to Chevron because gas is so expensive. So there is the Arco, of course, yes, then you guys can be concerned about that. But not if you have a very high-end site. And also when there's our 1 year condition, I think it should be allowed. And also Commissioner Woodson, his concern is about the noise. I should be more concerned than anyone else. Because my people who are visiting my hotel, they will affect my business, not anyone else. And my concern is there is a drive-through in the Starbucks and I have a hotel right there. I have never got any complaint. Never ever. There is a highway, have a more noise than the drive-through will generate. There's Imson, there's a highway one. And you see how much traffic is over there. You will not hear even a single thing what the customers are saying over there. And there's no residential around there. You should be worried about car wash that have more noise when the people vacuum the cars. But not about the drive-through, like when we already know that. I don't even think that it will be 10 car ever over there. Also, the other thing is business would be kind of spread out. Gas station get busy in the morning or in the evening. If you guys think about like the busy lunchtime, then it's completely different. Lunchtime there will be nothing over there because usually if you see Imogen get busy in the morning and in the evening, and there is also a sign that up to 9 o'clock or something you cannot make a right turn, you cannot cross this thing. Why it's not for the all day? Because everybody understands that there's no traffic after that. morning, evening is a lot of traffic, then the middle of the day is nothing. So if the lunch will be busy, it's lunch time, then the other traffic will go way down. So there's an offset, if you think, and also noise issue, there should not be any noise issue at all, because it's like a hotel is way back, and I'm concerned about more about the highway traffic, highway noise, not from this side, from the drive-through. If I think that, I will never do this thing. And also, like the gas station is, convenience store is still shrinking. We have like a 3,000 now instead of 5,000. What's the difference if we add something food over like a couple of food option inside? That cannot be stopped. So I think it's already approved. It's a 1-year condition, and that should be more than enough. But if I see something, I will automatically say, no, it is not working. I will not do it. I'm concerned about this thing. I mean, I have a business and I lived here in Marina. I think I am the most highest revenue generator in city of Marina, single entity. That's the city told me this thing. And it will be I'm already number one, it will be more revenue even. So the thing is, the cost, whatever I have spent money, invested in Marina, no one have done in a single entity. So considering all those things, we are trying to, one policy to implement everywhere. Like Commissioner Rana said, one policy cannot apply everywhere. Starbucks was allowed with the same situation. So what's the issue over here? I'm also concerned about the traffic issue or the accident or something happen. If that will happen, of course, I will voluntarily say, yes, I'm going to close it because it's not working. There's a lot of accidents. It can happen to anybody. My family will come every day. So I'm also concerned like the other commissioner, but I think we are overthinking that, if this will happen, this will happen. You go to the Burger King, you go to anywhere, you see any car over there, you hardly see cars. Wendy's, and like Mr. Ben said, Ben Wilson, regarding the, what's the name, In-N-Out Burger or Chick-fil-A, I did talk to Chick-fil-A. And they said they need a minimum 1.5 acre freestanding 5,000 square foot building, and then they need 1.5 acre space site minimum. So the question does not arise those kind of. It is very like a Subway, Jamba Juice, or small things, and all the business is already in Marina. There's nothing that so far I'm advertising. Not even a single person.
Harvey, just to the chair. So the chair, this meeting, and your discretion if you want to continue. But I believe public comment. So just
we're in a public comment stage.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to have to call this and let's wrap it up.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But I think I pretty much like said everything we need to be like doing.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
So to the chair, if I can summarize what I've heard from the applicant and the commission and just suggestions to the commission can move forward tonight. So obviously Harvey is a very reputable member of the community. He's doing great work. 2 hotels. But I'm hearing from the commission, if I'm hearing correctly, obviously, Harvey, we like you as an applicant, but we don't inside the convenience store. So, and I think there's some concern that there'll be some high volume traffic that goes inside that center. If he agrees to it, the commission could put a condition of approval that puts some parameters around what could the space be leased for in terms of, and there could be some objective criteria rather than a spur of trip. Because I'm hearing they're concerned that, and I don't think we've heard tonight, it's not going to be a Chick-fil-A. There's just not enough but it sounds like there's still some concerns. I just offering that as a suggestion. I'm still circulation. If the applicant is agreeable to it, we pick simulation and bring that back to the commission. So I'm just trying to offer some suggestions to the commission and the applicant. So,
Okay, thank you, Guido.
so
I have another alternate that to put for consideration. Instead of doing a simple quickie traffic study or circulation, instead of doing that, can we have a condition of approval that a comprehensive traffic study be done, especially not so much on the site itself, the traffic flow within the acre, but a traffic study on the egress and ingress off of Imjun and what happens at the traffic light on Second Street or Avenue.
So the condition of approval for already requires the applicant 1 year from the commencement to do a traffic report. And that the way the commission wrote it in 2023 is very comprehensive. So we will be making.
Okay, but that one is primarily in concert with the police department.
And shall prepare.
Yeah. I think the other, you can't do the traffic study until it opens.
No.
Well, how will you know how many cars are coming into Imjin and going off of Imjin and going on a second and off a second unless it's open?
They do traffic studies in order to get a CEQA, a EIR.
Well,
Before
then
you even build something.
then that's probably already done.
So we weren't asking for a traffic study.
No,
We were asking for a safety study.
Yeah.
And the safety study was built around traffic. And that's a critical difference here.
But
And-
with the existing conditions on Imjin and Second Avenue right now, what does a traffic study say about cutting a new entrance and exit for this corridor?
To assess with the addition of the drive-through, what would be the impacts to Imjin and local roads? That's something that any traffic analysis can do.
Mhm.
Right.
So that can be done now, that can be done a year from now. Yeah.
Well, I think I have to say something here. The addition of the drive-through is relatively is a modest enhancement to a approved commercial site project. We already approved the commercial site project. And driving through is just a modest requirement from the developers for Harvey. And we can put a condition approval with, subject to 1 year, a study on the safety factors or traffic flow. We could do that.
That already
Yeah.
exists.
Well, then what's the problem putting a condition of approval?
Yeah, so Commissioner Chang, I would refer you to condition of approval 43. Go into your packet.
Yeah.
That was previously put on the project.
So
And
that's already
yeah.
clear, right? I think we could do that, right?
Yes, you can do that
Yeah.
as well.
What page is it?
Let's get great. It's page 6 of the conditions of approval. Of the conditions of approval.
So can we base on that? I think that's already have a good,
Brad, can you pull up the condition of
yeah.
I'm working on that.
Thank you.
So that's already clear there,
And then to further, and then Brad, as the project planner, is also recommending adding additional condition, and I don't want to take words out of Brad's mouth, but that there will be a signage and striping plan that has to be approved by the city prior to occupancy of the building to further assuage the concern about circulation.
Yeah, and that would focus primarily on on-site circulation.
So do we have motion with that conditions?
No, I mean, we can, but I'm gonna make a more than friendly adjustment to it. I'm gonna tell you that.
Okay, Guido, you wanted the language for the traffic study condition?
That's okay with Chair.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, please.
All right, let me get back into Zoom and share that. Okay.
What kind of friendly amendment?
I'm trying,
Okay, it's condition 43. It should be on the screen there.
No,
Can everyone see that?
been up for a while.
Yeah, maybe Zoom, but so, yeah.
How's that? Can everyone see that? Condition 43?
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah.
And we can certainly, as we've been discussing, we can certainly propose amending that condition to kind of expand the scope to look at operations specifically pertaining to the drive-through or any other number of things. But yeah, this was done primarily to address the request for the access to MGen, which was not something that everyone was in favor of back in 2023. So that's why this condition is in there now. And this is an opportunity if the commission so chooses to amend that to allow for a more broad impact assessment of how things might go on that.
Hey, Vice Chair Woodson, your light's on.
Yeah.
Please.
I don't think it's a minor improvement. It's a window. Yeah, a window's small. But inside that window, inside the business, there is a kitchen. There is a sanitary sink. There is a sanitary food prep and distribution area that is being built inside of this that was not part of the original design. And we can go back to what Guido was saying, that this was all minor changes that were inside the building, but that was not part of the original plan. And to tell me that, oh, well, that wasn't part of the original plan, Glenn and Commissioner Woodson, because, well, it wasn't. It was, we're going to have convenience store. Convenience store is not a food prep and distribution area like a restaurant is. We are changing the inside configuration. We have added, and again, going back to the original design, we have added additional office space inside of the building. There are a set of minor changes that have occurred inside this building over time. We are now adding more than just a office. We are adding a food preparation and distribution area, not only for people who walk in, but now what we're saying is we're going to tie that into anybody who wants to drive up. And I will say, I think we are very much on the edge of whether this should even have been a conditional use permit requirement on this point, because this is a bigger change in the realm of what we're adding. If we look at it in the realm of a gas station with a car wash and with vacuums and with a convenience store at a master facility level, sure, it's a small component. If you take it and look at it as here's a building, which is the convenience store of it, I am now carving out a significant portion of that building and I'm turning it into a restaurant. And whether it is a sit-down restaurant inside, whether it's somebody who comes in and walks out, or whether it's somebody who drives up, we are still adding a restaurant into our convenience store. That is arguably, I understand where we're coming from on the CUP, but I have a lot of challenges with us coming in at this point and saying we're going to allow that to occur. There are so many other things that we could get, going back to the scope creep issue. Can come back, we can get a CUP. Let's add some EV charging stations because that's going to provide money back to him. He can go in there. Let's add some food trucks on the outside in the evenings. We're moving to a point where I think the intention of this was that we were building a gas station that was needed. That's what we were looking at. When we went to the safety discussions on access, the issue that, and the part of the real discussion we went on 2 years ago, and it's not fair necessarily, because unless you're a commissioner at the time, and half of us were and half of us weren't at this point on the commission. Part of the discussion we had at the time that allowed us to agree to the ingress and egress directly onto IMGEN was we wanted to support the business of the gas station. And we understood that cars taking the roundabout way and getting up and going around to get into the facility, and definitely at that point, the parking, the ingress and egress was more difficult at the time than it is now. It is definitely easier there. But we created the IMGEN entrance and egress because we realized that there are people who are driving to work in the morning, and this is mainly a commuter issue in the morning. That was a lot of our discussion, that need gas. And they want to stop in there very quickly, get on, grab a couple gallons of gas, you get to work, and then get off. And that's going to be a primary business model. And we didn't want to hold back that business model on the gas. So that's why we approved this. And we said, but, and I remember one of our commissioners, went out there and like measured it off. And from the start of the on-ramp back to the entrance. And we came back and we discussed how many feet it was. That was a large part of our discussion. And that's why we got to the safety evaluation and why we said after a year, we're going to allow this, but this is what our concern is. And so we're changing that, and we keep changing what we're building here. And what I will also add into is, I'm not sure how many of you have been looking and just, you can take Nextdoor and Facebook and groups about Marina and other social sites that are promoted in the city. But there is the two kind of theories running around that have been strands in discussion for the last few months have been, number one, hey, what's going in there? Gas station. Number two, what gas station? So they want to know what gas station it is, because everybody wants, what gas station is it? And because this is magic gas, depending on what it is, right? And then the third one is that what you're putting there on that corner isn't right. And we made the wrong, you all being the city, being the planning commission, not by name or even by planning commission or city. Why are we putting a gas station here in the first place? Because that's a really important corner. We only have a few important corners that we can put development on, and we're putting a gas station and a car wash. And wasn't there something better that we could have put there? Now, arguably, yes or no. I think we all agree that the gas station is the appropriate one. That's why we approved it at the time. And I think we would probably approve it again. So I think we kind of, from a technocrat perspective, understand that. But if I keep going back to the citizens of Marina and who we are supposed to represent, we have to be able to explain to them, okay, this is what you're going to get. Now, maybe they want a restaurant. The impression I get is that's probably not it. All that is just adding another quickie thing. And I don't want to dwell on it too much, but I know where Guido wants to just come to a resolution tonight, and we can always table it. We can always go back to the conditions on it. For me, I'm not going to draw any more outright. I don't support this right now. I'm not going to support it. We can have the friendly amendments all we want. But I just think that this is one of the few times in my 5 years where I really adamantly feel it's just one step too far. And so I'll leave that and close out my comments. So thanks, Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Chair. Any other discussion before we talk about a motion? Okay, then do I have a motion concerning the conditional use permit?
What's the motion? What can be on the screen?
Oh, can you put a motion up on the screen?
Sure, of course.
You stop sharing.
Well, Brad, you can just put up the resolution if you want. So,
Okay.
um,
Let me find that real quick.
I have it, Brad. That's
Okay.
fine. I sense some reluctance from the commission to make a motion. So once again, I do offer to the commission that, I mean, we do have the ability to table this item. And if the applicant's amenable to it, we could do some traffic modeling and bring that back to the commission, or the commission can vote on it tonight. I'm just trying to offer some solutions to the commission. So
I'm not in favor of a quickie traffic modeling. And I'm not concerned about the traffic within the site. I totally agree with Vice Chair Woodson that that will resolve itself. I'm not concerned about the traffic on Breakwater. And I'm not really concerned about the traffic on Second Avenue, but the entrance and exit, especially the exit onto Imshin, where a lot of the use of that station, that corner, will be traffic from Imshin to stop at the convenience store, the car wash, or the fuel to fuel up.
Yeah.
Or now added tonight to go to a convenience window for refreshments
Or coffee.
or coffee, right? And so that, and then exiting on to Imshin and fighting to get into the left-hand lane during the periods of morning are a mess. I just know it is. I even without this corner, with it's just sand and some concrete foundation right now, it's still a mess. People are still trying to jump the line between Second Avenue and Highway 1. And so this is going to be another spot of jumping the line. Anyway.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make the proposal.
Okay.
Planning Commission to adopt Resolution 2026 to approve a drive-through use for a previously approved gas station, convenience store, and car wash at the northwest corner of Del Monte Boulevard and Imjim Parkway, subject to findings, conditions, and the determination that the proposed uses and improvements will not result in a new significant environmental impact or effects, or a substantial increase in the severity or significant effects previously identified in EIR number 20040911167, certified for the University Village specific plan.
For a second. Do I hear a second?
I second.
Guido?
Okay.
Roll call.
Vice Chair Wood.
No.
No.
Commissioner Rana.
Yes.
Chair St. John.
No.
Commissioner Chang.
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobson.
No.
No.
Okay. Okay, where we go from here, I guess, is up to the applicant.
We can certainly work with the applicant to address some of the commission's concern, and we can bring this back. It's completely up to the applicant.
Right. Or also, can't the applicant file an appeal?
They can file an appeal to the city council.
Right.
I didn't understand it.
Okay, let's move on. We can close this item. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That item, yeah, that item is done.
And move on to informational items. A,
I
the
think we have one more, don't we?
We have
An old emergency trees.
It's an informational item, A, 3116 Lake Drive, emergency tree removal.
Oh,
Yeah. Ryan or Hadi, I'm not sure.
So you're both right. There is one more item, and yes, it is information.
Information.
Actually, 3 more items, but
Information.
Is there a staff
yes.
report?
1 second. Trying to get to it. Give me a second, Brian. Are we? Here we go.
Can't hear you.
That's what it said, yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised it's information.
Here we go. All right, there you go, Mike.
Emergency.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Brian Kim, and I'm the Assistant Planner. Tonight, I'll be presenting on the emergency tree removal at 3116 Lake Drive as the project planner, alongside with our planning intern, Hadi.
Good evening, dear Commissioners. As Brian mentioned, we will be presenting the emergency tree removal, 3116 Lake Drive. The presentation will be in 2 sections. I'm gonna take over the background and some information about the project.
Can you get a little closer to the microphone?
Sure.
Thank you.
So on February 26, 2026, application submitted for emergency tree, proposing remove the 2 monorail cypress tree because of structural instability and declining health. Arborist report submitted by the certified arborist on the gate, and report actually included 3 hazard evaluation form. Next slide. Yes, this is the project location. Lakeview Terrace Apartments, located in our zoning R4 or multiple family residential district. You can see the location of trees 107 and 106. Pursuant to Marina Municipal Code 1762-040 Section D, in the event of any emergency, whereby immediate action is required because of danger or life to property, any tree may be removed upon community development approval. Upon authorization of such removal, the community development director or designee shall file a report with the planning commission describing the facts and circumstances constituting the emergency, and said report shall be provided to the tree committee. These 2 trees removed, as I said, just 106 and 107. This table just gives some information about tree number, DBH, height, and hazard rating. For tree number 106, DBH, which shows the diameter of a tree measured at 4.5 feet above the ground while standing on the high side of the tree, is 37 inch, and the height is 65 feet, and the hazard rating is 11 out of 12. Hazard rating includes 3 different aspects, including failure potential, size of part, and target rating, which is 3, 4, 4, accordingly for tree number 106. The same for tree 107, the DBH is 24.5 inch, and the height is 60 feet, and the hazard rating is 10 out of 12. The failure potential is 3, size of part is 3, and target rating is 4 for tree number 107. Now, I'm going to hand it over to Brian. He will get you over from the analysis part of the presentation. So, as discussed, both trees had a structural instability and declining health that could have led to failure. As shown in the picture, cypress number 106 had a significant crack that reduced the tree's overall structural strength. Next slide, please. So targets are defined as people who can be injured, property that may be damaged, or activities that could be disrupted by a tree failure. And for these trees, the targets included occupied residences, pedestrians, recreation, small features, and hardscape and landscape. Additionally, the arborist reported that no birds were nesting on site within 300 feet at the time of assessment. Next slide, please. So if you see the picture, the X's show the removal of the 2 trees, and the circles show the replacement trees. So the replacement ratio was a 2-to-1 ratio. This is our standard tree removal ratio, and the replacement trees were oak trees, so leading to a total of 4 trees planted. Next slide, please.
Oh.
And here's another picture of showing the 4 trees. Next slide, and that concludes our presentation.
So as Brian mentioned, the zoning code has this unique that I don't know why can I borrow yours? Sorry. Has this unique provision that if I remove an emergency tree, I then have to file a report with the commission just to tell the body this is what we did. So that's basically what we're doing. It also gave an opportunity for our intern to present the planning commission. So always try to give our interns opportunity to do stuff. So yeah, it's just really an informational. There's really no action per se by the planning commission, just more trying to follow the municipal code. So.
Yeah, and we will also be reporting to the tree committee in a future meeting as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Steph, for the presentation. I have just one comment. From the package, I didn't realize that this was an ex post facto already done deal. Yeah. I totally understand that Guido has the authority to approve an emergency tree removal, and it doesn't have to go through the committee, the tree committee, or the planning commission to do that job.
That's correct.
Yeah, but what I didn't know was why it got to say it didn't go. I don't think this report hasn't gone to the tree committee at all, to my knowledge. You can correct me.
It has not, because you guys were the first body that we could meet with after it happened. And I thought it'd probably be prudent to tell the commission as soon as possible, not wait till after the tree committee. So, but yeah, we're definitely going to report out the tree committee. So.
I made a trip to the site to see the trees and make a judgment in my own mind that, yep, it was an emergency, because just the report and the pictures, it's didn't do enough justice to say we got to cut down, a 34-inch chunk of tree and a 24-inch chunk of tree, so quick, so I made a trip out and I couldn't find the tree.
Me too.
I absolutely.
They were gone.
I thought, well, I can't. I'm pretty good about reading drawings and reading pictures. I can do it, but I didn't do this one. And then I finally said, they cut the trees down. I found the sawdust.
And you didn't get to hug them.
I didn't get to hug them. And I did find the 4 little bitty oak trees that replace these monsters. And I had a couple of questions on why they didn't replace the two cypress with two more cypress. There was plenty of open space in the land, but they found these, back 6 or 7 feet from the back fence, empty spot, put the 4 little babies in. But anyway, I was a little disappointed that they cut them down before anyone had a chance other than staff to take a look at it. And I know that it's not a requirement, but I thought it could have been. When did they get cut down? Does anyone know? Like an approximate date?
Middle of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, and but this doesn't happen. I mean, in the 4 years I've been here, I think I've done this maybe
Once a year. About once a year.
yeah, one other. So we do take removal of trees very seriously, and you can ask the planners. I grilled them about, is this really necessary? And have we read the arborist report? I mean, we don't just willy-nilly do this
Right.
action. So
Yeah, and to add on, just to answer some of your questions, there are no requirements on keeping the replacement tree the same. We do recommend the recommended tree list that the tree committee provided, and we provide that. And the applicant actually chose oak trees from that list. So getting that recommended tree list is, I think, an important part in keeping the trees we want to see in our city. And the removal happened sometime in March, a couple of weeks after the application was submitted. And the reason why the director is able to do this is because we don't want to wait too long in cases where there is a crack and removal must be made urgently. So yeah, hope that answers your question, Chair.
Yeah. Is ordinarily the process for an emergency tree removal, I can understand that it was an emergency, that if these trees, especially leaning, they were not very far, maybe less than 10 feet from 10 or 12 feet from a 2-story apartment residence, and with 60 and 65 feet tall and a damaged tree that had, whenever the damage was, the bark had grown into it. So it wasn't recent damage. It was existing for quite a while. So it could have happened any day or any week or any month or even in a year that it could have failure. So it should have come down, but and this is the middle of April, and it came out probably the middle of March or so, 30 days ago, maybe. That it was
we didn't have a meeting April 12th, so that's why I'm letting you guys know now.
Yeah, and the reason why we came to Planning Commission first is because we want to be transparent with the removal. We don't want this to get swept through under the rug and wait till present tree committee first before letting you guys know. So we chose to present at the first available.
It'd be nice if you'd have said in subject to, I mean, in accordance with the state of the emergency, we've already released the trees for removal. They've been removed.
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't have gone out there and looked for them.
Yeah, and just to assure you, we take these removals very seriously. We require all the similar
tree committee and the planning committee.
Yeah, so we require all the same requirements, arborist report, hazard ratings, and all the same requirements.
Okay, that's all I had. Any other?
I looked for the trees, do it, and I couldn't find them.
I found the sawdust.
I didn't find them.
I could kick that around, yeah.
14 minutes. I just want us to talk for 14 more minutes and get to 10 o'clock. We haven't done a 4-hour meeting in years.
All right, well, I'll make this quick. So we got our pro-housing designation. I haven't shared with the commission. We actually, Elaine and I got this letter March 2nd, but at the top of the letter, it says, oh, there's some media embargo. Don't publicize it too much. And I've been bugging the state. And I said, you know, at some point I have to tell the commission. So it's in your packet. At some point, the state will release it so that we can make a big media blitz. But I put it in the packet specifically to thank the planning commission. We've probably brought 30 some odd different housing element stuff to the commission the last 4 years. And I know some of it is very esoteric, in the weeds housing policy stuff. So I appreciate you guys sitting through all of that. Because we got this on March 2nd, we were able to apply for $850,000 of PIP funding, which we can use for other housing related things. I just wanted to thank the commission for volunteering your time and sitting through all the boring planning housing stuff I brought you guys. So yeah.
How many other cities in the county have the pro housing?
I think Salinas has it. That's the one off the top of my head that I know about. So
I think they were the only other ones.
yeah.
At this point. I'm just curious.
And then the only other item I wanted to bring to the commission was we have moved back the start times to 6 p.m., which seems to work for the entire commission. Does the commission want to keep it at 6 p.m. or move it up to 5:30? That's up to the commission to decide.
I want to keep it at 6.
Big.
6
This
is
is fine. 5:30 doesn't work for me.
Okay,
We don't consider-
sounds good.
The consensus is 6 o'clock is fine.
Sounds good. That's all the staff announcements.
So just been 2 more minutes, 12 more minutes.
well, 12 minutes. 12 minutes. I have jokes. I have a year's worth of jokes I give every day. So we could just do the filibuster jokes.
Sure.
So, I mean, there was the time that I was kicked out of the city park because I was lining up all the critters in a row,
The who?
the squirrels. I have to think about what the punchline is, but
I'm not from this country.
Yes.
I was raised here. I don't understand you.
So Chair, you have to actually adjourn.
Right. But we're not gonna make it filibuster falling apart. So.
That's fine.
Meetings adjourned.
Thank you.